Hey, welcome, kids, to Fat Man Beyond. I'm Kevin Smith.
I am Marc Bernardin.
Hey,
Oh,
pardon me while I take a drink of something with my face on it.
no, do it. Do it. Doing it and doing it and doing it well.
Delicious. It is a cherry pie Chronicon cannabis seltzer, Mark, by the good friends, our good friends at Be Kind. Is that what it's called? Mighty Kind.
Mighty kind.
How's everybody doing, man? It's fucking hot. Unbelievably hot where we are. I'm in a room with no air conditioning. I have a little ass fan and it's blowing hot air right the fuck at me. This is gonna be the quickest Fat Man Beyond we ever fucking did. I'll tell you that right now. Before we say a fucking word, first a word from our sponsor. Mark, who's helping us out tonight? Who's paying the bills? How are we keeping the lights on?
Well, the people helping us keep the lights on, but apparently in your case, not the air conditioning on.
I know.
Are the one of them, our first sponsor, the good folks at Native DEO. We've talked about Native quite a bit, haven't we, Kev?
We do. We love the good folks at Native DEO, man. Go to nativedeo.com right now /Fatman. Is that the address?
Yep. Or use the promo code FATMAN at checkout.
Check out their products. Man, Native makes damn good stuff. What I enjoy is that, we talk about them on the show. They're sponsors. We hype them. I love their products. My wife swears by them. But periodically, when we're not like doing the show, like throughout the week, you'll get tweets from people who are like, "You guys must be working because I bought some Native and it rocks." And they don't hashtag Native, and I'm like, oh, it'd be so much better for us if you did. However, I don't care. I was just happy to read that, like, whatever we say has impact. We got to be careful with our words, Mark.
Oh, now put a dollar bill, kids, in an envelope and send them in to Mark and Kev in Hollywood.
Exactly. Let's soupy sales this shit, man. Make ourselves fucking rich. The good folks at Native are one of our sponsors tonight, ladies and gentlemen. They make some of the finest deodorant products. They make great body wash, hair wash, which I believe your people call shampoo. They make this shit
deodorant,
and it smells like fucking candy canes sometimes, or just birthday cake. This is a great company, man. They make vegan fucking products, vegan friendly. I wouldn't recommend eating them, but you could, because they're made from plants. Don't you get it? Not from some artificial chemical bullshit. They're made from plants. NativeDEO.com /Fatman. What are you waiting for? How many times we got to tell you this? NativeDEO.com /Fatman. You're going to get how much off, Mark?
20% off your first order.
Fuck. The road to being a millionaire begins with 20% off at nativedeo.com, ladies and gentlemen, /Fatman. We thank the good folks at Native Deodorant for being proud sponsors of this here show, Fat Man Beyond.
Indeed. I would like to caution you listeners that it will not make you a millionaire.
Hey, I just saw a movie that says, it's not the machine, it's the man in the box.
Ooh.
I've watched Maverick, Top Gun 2.
You finally watched it. That shit is bomb, though, right?
I'm wonderful. And you know what? Wonderful is too. I mean, good. Just real good. Just exactly what it needed to be. Thing that I was most impressed by is Tom Cruise is 60.
Yeah. Taking his shirt off with a bunch of children on the beach.
Exactly. Not just taking his shirt off, taking his shirt off in front of people 30 years as fucking junior and shit like that. Still pulling off. Motherfucker running around playing football, and the fucking on the beach. It's hard enough running when I'm 52. I'd never run unless I was chased. And even then I'd be like, look, I'll suck your dick to stop chasing me. I didn't have to run. This guy's like Tom cruising down the beach, catching the football and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And listen to us. We're like, oh my God, he can play football. He fucking flies jets in the movie for reals. Like he takes off and it's him. And that ain't green screen. He's fucking literally doing this shit. It's crazy. But yeah, it's totally a watchable movie.
Do you like how the middle of it was just Star Wars?
Pretty much.
Yeah. It's like, all right, you got to navigate this trench and you got to launch a missile to an exhaust port this big.
I'll tell you, Tom Cruise impressive. The dude who played Rooster, what's his name?
Miles Teller.
Impressive. Jennifer Connelly. Do you know how old Jennifer Connelly is?
I don't, but I'm gonna guess
50 fucking 2. She's my age.
Yeah.
Mark, why don't I look like Jennifer Connelly? Why can't I act like Jennifer Connelly? How come I'm not married to Paul Bettany like Jennifer Connelly? Why do the Jennifer Connollys of this world get fucking everything, Mark? And I get nothing.
My favorite thing is that when you first meet Jennifer Connelly's character in the bar that she owns, a David Bowie.
Penny, motherfucker. Don't strip her of her identity. It's Penny. His name's Maverick because everybody fucking says it. Hey, literally everybody said, nobody ever calls him fucking Pete. His name's Pete.
Well, if you could go by Maverick and your name was Pete, wouldn't you go by Maverick?
Maverick, and it's a little cringe to be named Maverick, right? It's like you're thirsty for it, like you're trying too hard. Like, let me call you a Maverick. Don't you call yourself a Maverick. That's
that's the thing. You can't pick your own call sign. Your call sign has to be dubbed upon you.
Oh, so somebody else called him Maverick?
That apparently is the lore of a call sign. Like, you can't just decide you want to be called fucking Hot Shot or whatever.
You know what? You just improved the movie for me. About 3%.
But the first time you see Penny in the bar, there's a Bowie song on the jukebox. Because Jennifer Connelly was in Labyrinth with David Bowie.
Oh, there's a Bowie song. I thought you said there's a bone saw on the jukebox. And I was like, what version of Top Gun did you see? Because
I have lots of questions.
Was it Saw 9 Maverick? Bowie song, yes. Whole time we were watching the movie, I kept saying to my wife, like, I'd roll over, and she wasn't next to me. She was on the couch, I was on the bed, but I was watching this way, and I'd roll over, and I would be like, she ain't gonna be impressed by this guy. She met the Goblin King when she was a child. Why ain't she talking about that? Talking about, like, you broke up with me at one point, Maverick. Instead, be like, I met the Goblin King. He tried to kidnap my brother, that pedo fuck. And my God, he had a fucking codpiece. I was a child, a teenager. I was surrounded by puppets.
I saw a little movie this weekend as well.
What'd you see?
I saw 3,000 Years of Longing.
Oh, I just saw that trailer. It's a George Miller movie, right?
The George Miller picture, starring Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton.
I just saw that trailer. What I got from the trailer is Idris Elba is a genie. Is that correct?
He is.
So it's like adult Aladdin. I believe that's what they said in the trailer.
Pretty much. It's
it looked visually arresting. How was it?
It's fine. Nice. It's got an interesting couple of acts in which Tilda.
Mark, we're trying to build a profile for this fucking show.
Yeah, what are we gonna do?
Well, in order to get on a movie poster, you can't say shit like "it's fine." Marc Bernardin, Fat Man Beyond.
To be clear, you almost said the exact same thing about Maverick. It's a movie.
Yeah, I acknowledge the fact that it has credits. I feel like I went too far. I was like, it was wonderful, and really, like, I got to save that for shit that I truly feel was like Paper Girls was wonderful. Maverick was Maverick. It was pretty much exactly what it needed to be. Well made. I'm not saying like Joe Kosinski needs to go back to film school or something. Like, incredibly well made. But I'll be honest with you, and I know this is not fucking patriotic or whatever fuck, but like, I wasn't a big Top Gun kid. Saw it once, ever in my life. So I'm going on this one going like, where'd she come from?
Who's this?
Is that Kelly McGillis's daughter? Like, where's she? How's she figure into this? Where's Kelly McGillis? That's all I kept saying. I fell asleep that night, all night long. I kept tossing and turning. Where's Kelly McGillis? And then I wake myself up.
So yeah, it's.
Oh shit! Speaking of where's Kelly McGillis,
yeah,
we know where fucking Val Kilmer was. Very touching, Val Kilmer. Fucking.
Isn't that beautiful?
really nice. They found a way to get him in there and do him justice. You know, they really played up that relationship. It's like those dudes just shook hands at the end of the movie. They weren't like this, and then years later they're like,
it was, you can be, you'd be my wingman anytime. It's like, I'll be yours, you be mine.
oh, all right, good point. Well, that's, as I said, I saw the movie once
40
when
years
it came out.
My memory's a little rusty.
I do remember the wingman thing, but yeah, no, totally movie. What a movie.
Yeah, what a movie. But yeah, 3,000 Years of Longing, it's beautiful because it's fucking George Miller and he had money to spend on it. And so to have a genie tell you the tales that led him inside a lamp is actually kind of interesting. And Tilda Swinton as a woman who does not have a heart's desire to choose for herself what she wants to wish for is also interesting. It's just when she makes her wish, the movie kind of dissolves a little bit as it goes, and it kind of loses what snap it had. I mean, I enjoyed myself, but it was one of those movies where it was a little frustrating because you saw what the sort of better movie of that version was. You just made a left, a right, and a left.
But isn't that how you view? I mean, then you must be frustrated all the time because you always come up with a better movie anyway. Where you're like, oh, I saw this, but you know what would have made it better? Fucking gold ingots. Why didn't anyone think to throw in the gold ingots?
Well, I mean, there's movies that are just like bad. Where you're like, all right, you know what? They could have done 100 different things and came up with a better movie or done a completely different story. But then there's the ones that are close.
Speaking of which, Clerks 3 coming to theaters very soon, kids. Get your tickets, Clerks 3 movie. Anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, this was just, you know, incredibly talented people at work, you know, actors who are just working the way that we know that they can work, talented performers. But it fell apart a little bit. The center did not hold by the time you got to the end. And those are the movies that are more frustrating than others to me because they were close. They just sort of missed the mark. Literally and figuratively.
I'm trying to think if I watched anything like new. Did I watch a movie this week? We did. What did we watch? It's not, I fell asleep watching it, but that doesn't mean anything. I was just super fucking tired. Shit. I forget. I stayed awake all through Top Gun though. So that's my movie fucking pull quote for a poster. I stayed awake through this entire movie. Kevin Smith
didn't nap once.
Which some people would be like, what kind of praise is that? It's like, do you know this guy? He's sleepier than the fucking dormouse when watching movies. Like movies begin, he just fucking twinkle, that. So if he said he stayed awake, well, by gum, I got to see that movie myself.
9 stars. He stayed awake.
I've just been getting ready all week, man.
I know you're going on tour. I mean, what are the preparations for embarking on a months-long road show?
Honestly, I mean, you want to be real?
Yeah.
You got to make sure you got weed, plenty of weed.
Fair.
Come on, man. Like I tell everyone, I'll go anywhere you want as long as there's weed where I'm going. If I get where I'm going and there's no weed, that's why you'll never catch me in Russia.
No weed.
Right. So packing, but I pack light. I mean, let's be honest, I wear like one outfit all the time anyway and shit. And probably on tour, I'll be wearing, you know what, I'm gonna wear my jacket that I wore to the premiere. Because I instead of wearing the purple jacket, everyone's always giving me shit about the purple jacket. So I was like, fine, I'll now replace it with this black and white jacket. But this is the tour shirt. So I'll probably be, and this is why I don't have to bring a lot of fucking luggage. Every night I'm on stage, every night I come grab one of the tour shirts from the merch, even if this one gets stinky. This is the tour shirt. So it's the shirt that Randall in the movie, as portrayed by Jeff Anderson, Randall has his heart attack in. It is designed, drawn, of course, by the great Dark Nate himself, Dark Nate Gonzalez, who does our artwork for the show. And it was off of an idea that I was like, ooh, try this. And then he fucking just brought magic to it and shit. So it's a Chulies is our fake gum in the movie from Clerks and stuff. So this is suck me off and make me gum. Chuli's gum sucker. It's meant to be a lollipop, right? Like a fucking blow pop.
Oh yeah, that's clear.
And look at that. I don't know if you can see that, Mark, but
Mm.
that looks kind of familiar. And at the bottom, it says gum in your mouth. So
does that come in chocolate?
Yes, of course. No, we actually made it just in the blue because that's what he wears in the movie.
Yeah.
We actually had a discussion about what color shirt it should be on. I was like, I don't know. If you watched the movie, wouldn't you want the shirt that was in the movie? On the back, it says Clerks III. I assure you, I was there for the convenience tour fall 2022. So that's
very
the
nice
tour shirt. When the folks do VIP, that's just taking pictures with me. They get a copy of the screenplay that we made just for the tour, man.
Oh, nice.
Nice, man. It's crazy how anybody can just make a book now. I'm all for that world, man. It's so democratic, so diplomatic. Everybody gets to make a book. I put the screenplay in here, man. It's got some shit that was not in the movie and stuff. Shows are fucking selling out. Philly, I believe, just sold out. We are about to sell out the second Jersey show. It's been great, and the Fathom event screenings have been going well in pre-sale, so much so that they extended our run. We were supposed to be 2 nights, September 13th and September 15th, but Fathom's like, the demand is so high, we're going to extend you right into the weekend. So we got a Friday and a Saturday.
Yep.
So September 13th to the September 18th, you can go see it in the movie theater near you, or you can see it with me on the convenience tour, man, starting this Sunday, fucking 3 days from now, in the great state of New Jersey in Red Bank, just down the street from Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash at the Basie, Count Basie Theater, the Basie Center, they call it now. And then we go from New Jersey to Portland, Maine, and then to the Keswick in Philly, outside of Philly. Then we go up to Providence, Rhode Island, then to New York, the Beacon Theater.
Fancy.
Washington, D.C., the Warner Theater, and then we go to Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. We sold out a show there, and so we added a second show as well. Then September 13th, we stopped touring because that's when the movie's on the Fathom screens.
Mm-hmm.
And I go do press in New York. So I'm going to be on Seth Meyers, our mutual friend, Seth Myers.
Tell him I say hello.
I will. I'm going to be like, you remember that fucking dude talking about comic books? I know that guy. So I'll see him. I think I'm doing The View while I'm there as well. A bunch of like New York kind of press and stuff. As the movie comes out that week, as it plays once a night on a Fathom Events screen. And then I've got Hollywood Babylon here in Los Angeles on September 16th. And then on the 18th, I head back up to Vancouver and the tour resumes at the Rio Theater. And then we move on to Colorado, so forth and so on. I'm going to be on the road for a while, my friend. I mean, I come back like periodically, like I'm back here to do the LA show, the San Diego show, the Sacramento show, Anaheim show. And that's like in late September, early October.
Mm-hmm.
But generally speaking, I'm on the road until at least Thanksgiving. Now, don't mean we can't do this, because look,
you could be anywhere.
I could literally be anywhere. I could do this in the shitter. You wouldn't want that. It's so loud and squishy, but it could be done. So yes, we will continue to do Fat Man Beyond, which I'm sure will be me telling you, like, oh my God, guess what happened this week? I showed the movie 7 fucking times. So we're gonna have to rely on you for new stories, because my story is the same story over and over.
What'd you do this week? I showed the movie to 8,000 people.
I watched Clerks a lot. Let me tell you something. I'm glad I love this movie, because I'm about to watch the fuck out of it. And I do. I watch it every night because I watch the audience. I'm a dirty little cuck. Like, I'm watching them watch the thing. I'm like, look at them being pleasured. And I stand there on the side and fucking watch them the whole time. Sometimes I shoot them from behind with my camera. Like, I shoot the audience reacting to the movie and stuff. I make another movie while we watch the movie. And I don't even ask for their permission to be in the movie. Fuck it. They're in the movie.
You did it.
I incepted them into my movie. So I look forward to Life on the Road, man. This was well, because of the Jay and Silent Bob Reboot Roadshow tour. I was like, oh man, this is awesome. Wouldn't it be great if if they like this? What if I took Clerks 3 out on the road? And that kind of made me go, all right, as soon as we get home from this tour, 2020, we're gonna fucking do Clerks 3 and we're gonna tour it. And then fucking
Things happen.
Things happen beyond my but we did get to make a movie in a pandemic, and now it's ready to show the world. The word I've received back from our screenings is very positive, Mark.
Outstanding.
Yeah, it's nice. So kids, get your tickets. Clerks3.movie. Whether you're seeing it with me or you're seeing it without me, go see it, man. I know they gave me some right before the show began. They gave me some very good news. But they don't want me to share it until they were going to make a press release of it and shit. So everything's coming up Millhouse, man. Knock wood. So come on out. Come back to the quick stop, kids. Come to New Jersey with me. See Clerks 3. Anyway.
This coming Friday, I am doing the final mix on Splinter.
Is that right? Where are you doing it?
A place called Formosa here in Los Angeles.
I'm familiar with the place.
Yeah.
And look at you. This is your first mix, isn't it? Baby's first mix?
Baby's first mix. Nobody mixes baby in the corner.
What do you how much time you got? One day or something?
Yeah, we got half a day. Yeah, between the better part of a day. But yeah, man, we finished color grading last weekend. So the picture's solid, and this is it. Score's done, VFX are done, ADR is done. This is the last stage.
And then what? Then
we prep it, we master it for both festivals as well as internet dispersion, so that the Kickstarter backers can take a look at the thing that they helped in great part become a reality. And then we start applying. We start trying to hit the road.
We do the Smodcastle Film Festival in December, but look, I'm here if you need me, but I don't want to hurt your chances of getting into, say, a Sundance or something like that. That's the one you should be focusing on.
Yeah, that's very much part of the reasons why we're trying to be done by beginning of September. Is that's when deadlines begin, and Sundance is traditionally the first one up at the plate.
No doubt.
So it's Sundance and South by. There's a Palm Springs Shorts Fest. Not that we'll apply to fucking Cannes. We won't get in, and I probably couldn't afford to go even if we did. But we'll try and get in.
This is what we could do too. I know a guy who owns a movie theater, so we can actually down the road do a fucking screening that we sell tickets to, and we do Q&A and shit afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Start earning off that fucker, man.
Give me my money.
Yeah, that's what it's about. That's why we make art, for money, kids. There's the truth. There's the dirty truth.
I will happily be a seller.
Tried it once. Darn.
Yeah.
I'd rather work for my money. Especially because the work is so gratifying, literally self-gratifying, because the work is me. So basically I jerk off for a living. I jerk off for a living, and nobody has to ever look at my dick. Nobody will ever see it, Mark. I keep it hidden away.
It's right there on your t-shirt, man. On the Clerks 4 shirt.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Red Rock. Did you watch some television? Should we jump into the things we watched?
Let me tell you, I would love to fucking talk about some fucking television. Let's do it, man. We watched some shit, kids. So here's the part of the show we're going to talk about that. What'd you watch?
I have seen now all 3 episodes that exist of She-Hulk. I was one down last time we did a podcast. And I really like this episode. This episode was it felt like the rhythms the show kind of wanted to be, which is, here's our sort of overarching case, the Emil Blonsky parole thing. We drop in a little Wong, and Wong is just being funny and cool. And if Wong is going to be the Nick Fury of this version of the Avengers, Bet. If he's the one who gathers everybody, either for the Thunderbolts or for whatever Avengers team, for Young Avengers at some point, whatever it is, here for it. We got a little tiny one-shot legal runner about an Asgardian shape-shifting fairy elf who
Cool story that felt like could have been part of the comics right there. Didn't have to be like, oh my God, that's that character from issue blah, blah, blah. It's just general Asgardian, enough of a connection to our mythos while still being a standalone kind of thing. I went for it.
Yeah, like I dug it, and they picked the perfect kind of cad to be the victim of this particular lawsuit because he's a dude that you love to hate, and they found a nice little reversal on him being an asshole, an awful person who is going to he's going to win this lawsuit because he's so awful. Like I sort of dug that. I will say my biggest stumbling block of this episode was the Jen Walters CG. Like the first couple of minutes of that was rough.
There were a few moments where I too was like, because I don't, me, I'm like, I can't make a fucking She-Hulk, so good on you. But there were a few moments where I was like, why don't they hire a very like tall woman for the wide shots and just face, plant, like just put, it feels like the walking stuff, which they like to show off, do the simple walk and talk, which is like one of the cheapest things to do on a TV show, becomes inordinately expensive because a person who's not there has to be doing the walking. So I assume they've got Tatiana Maslany on stilts like they would do to fucking Brolin, Josh Brolin as Thanos. Remember, you see the behind the scenes videos and he's in these ridiculous high boots and shit like that.
Yeah,
I guess they got her doing that and then they replace her entirely or whatever, but just feels like you could probably get a very tall woman for most of the shots and then just CG on top of it. What do I know? I don't know fucking shit. But there were a few moments where I was like, uncanny.
Yeah. It's like
but not that it took me out, not where I was like, oh fuck this. I was just like, they're on a deadline.
I get it. That cake wasn't baked yet, but you do what you got to do.
Sometimes, man, it's okay if it's a little doughy inside. I don't mind.
But yeah, I mean, it's funny. I was talking to somebody over the weekend about Aliens, and they were like, "Yeah, the movie really holds up. I mean, some of the CG is a little rocky." And I was like, "Bro, there's no CG in that movie. It's made in '86. Like it was made in '85, or at least in '86. There's no CG in that.
There's some rear projection shots in that fucking movie.
Where that's how old school he was.
Projected on a giant screen, and then they're doing shit in front of it. That's how they used to drive in the 40s and 50s in movies. It is incredibly old school.
Yeah.
Not CG though. It's the opposite of CG. It's camera trickery.
Yeah, like lots of model work, a little bit of green screen stuff, but like there's still an old school way to do Jen Walters that doesn't require her to be CG every time you see her. Because I'm 100% sure that there's some WNBA athletes who would happily put on a business suit and walk around an office for you and get you all of that body motion right, get you all of that physicality right without needing to drop it through a processor. But I think Tatiana is still very good, and I think the scripts are very strong, and I think that this feels the way this show wants to feel. This is like the proof of concept more than the pilot or even the second episode was. And so like, yeah, fuck it. It's funny. I dig it. Let's go. I'm happy for there to be a Megan Thee Stallion cameo if it gets people to watch an episode of She-Hulk.
Yeah, that part was fun. Yeah. I enjoy her, and I enjoy like I want her to break the fourth wall more. But that's not a complaint. Fuck, please don't writing shit that like Smith bitches that She-Hulk not good enough. Not at all. I like She-Hulk. I think it's absolutely fun, and it's hey, here's something I couldn't say about Top Gun Maverick. It's wonderful.
It's wonderful. Nice.
Yeah, so I've been digging it. My only complaint is like, come on, man, fucking drop them all and fuck this like under 30 bullshit. Like You know, just when it's like right on, it's getting going, and then it fucking stops and shit. Is Daredevil next week? Does anybody know?
I don't know. I don't know. They've been very cagey about when they're going to be revealing the rest of the guest stars we're going to get.
I look forward to that, man.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing Charlie Cox do some dialogue again, man. I don't see what he, we've seen Matt Murdock,
Mhm.
In the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I want to see how Daredevil plays in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, particularly this iteration of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is very lighthearted.
Yeah.
And that guy, Daredevil, comes from a show where there was one scene where Kingpin slammed a guy's head in a fucking in a SUV door until he fucking beheaded him. That was the implication. They didn't show that. I mean, but you heard it, and the implication was his fucking head came off completely. Now, we've seen an iteration of Kingpin wearing a big Hawaiian shirt, and that tracks with the comics, so that's great. We saw him, the same guy who beheaded somebody, fight. What's his name? Haley
Fight a child.
Yes, fight a fucking kid. So I'm so curious what Daredevil's first appearance is going to be like tonally. And I'm okay if he makes jokes, because I thought Charlie Cox was funny on Daredevil. Not like, oh shit, fucking give him a sitcom, but like he could pull off
sense of humor.
Yeah, he could pull off fucking humor while he was pulling off drama. He's a very deft performer.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm not like they better do it right. Whatever they do is fucking right by me. They brought the right guy back. That's all I care about.
I mean, I think that perhaps this episode's iteration of the Wrecking Crew can maybe give a little bit of an insight as to how the brutality or lack thereof of Kingpin will sort of happen. Because we meet the Wrecking Crew at the end of this thing, and they just felt like a bunch of draft dodgers who got their hands on magic stuff and handily got their asses kicked by a person with no combat training at all. But there was the guy who tried to stab her to get her blood, who then says the boss is going to be really angry that we didn't get the sample he wanted. I can't help but think that boss might be the Kingpin.
You think so? I was wondering that, but I'm like, can't be Kingpin. But I guess maybe if Daredevil's going to show up.
Yeah, feels
why
like
would Kingpin want her blood, so he can Hulk out.
So he can Hulk out. So he can sell it. He can give it to somebody that he loves. He can whatever that is. There's uses I can imagine for a criminal mastermind to have Hulk blood.
I like that writing where it's just like he could give it to somebody he loves. That's a good storyline.
You can't never die.
He's committing a crime and being horrible, but it's because he's trying to help somebody.
I mean, that's how we've seen them introduce and play Kingpin for very much of both the Netflix version and in the Sony version and in the books.
What was the one that Frank Miller wrote and Sienkiewicz drew? Was about Daredevil Love and War?
Yeah.
I believe it's Daredevil Love and War, and it tells the story of Kingpin, and it's that design that they used or kind of mimicked for Into the Spider-Verse, where he's just fucking gigantic. Bill Sienkiewicz is a fucking genius. And he kidnaps a doctor, a psychiatrist, therapist, brings him up to like the top of his building, and he's making him work with Vanessa, his wife, who has been like detached from reality or going through something. And he just waxes poetically about how much he loves Vanessa. And meanwhile he's like talking to the psychiatrist like, cure her or you get killed, ugly, like he's just being the villain that he is. And I remember, I'll never forget that the powerful fucking ending is like he's working with the woman Kingpin loves, and she communicates he brings in children's blocks with letters and she starts moving them, and basically she spells out XCAPE, if I remember correctly. I think it says escape, and Kingpin has to see that. Like he has to see, like this guy who's like Vanessa, my heart of my heart, she's terrified of him and she does not want to be anywhere fucking near him and stuff. And Daredevil has to climb the fucking tower to get a Fisk tower to get up there and stuff. And by the end, it's kind of like it's not a bloody fight. He's defeated by his own the world that he made. Not that dissimilar from like, you know, what they did in Into the Spider-Verse, where they show his wife and his kids seeing him and like running off and then getting
horrified by him.
Yeah, horrified by who he really is. I love that book so fucking much. It's such a great book. So anyway, yeah, Daredevil's coming.
Kingpin probably there too.
Fall down the rabbit hole of things that I love, and I'm like, oh my god, like I'll never forget reading that book, and then rereading the book, and then rereading the book, and it's just there's a devastating piece of writing with the reveal of the blocks, where he said, the psychiatrist says something, as written by Frank Miller, I believe, says something to the effect of like, you know, I defeat him or I end him with a, you know, a block or something like that. It's such a wonderful fucking book. All right.
Yeah. And also, did you see the second episode of House of Them Dragons on the HBO?
I have not yet. You know, the first one kind of it's a lot of blonde. I gotta get a pair of sunglasses to watch episode 2. But yeah, I haven't gotten around to 2. Did you?
I did. You know,
I hear is there a birth of a dragon in this one?
No. There's what happens is Matt Smith's Daemon Targaryen steals a dragon egg, and that seems to be a big you know, flashpoint for the king, his brother, for his niece, who's, you know, I can't remember, Rhaenyra Targaryen. There's so many of these names. But they're about to go to war to retrieve the dragon egg, and that's sort of the fulcrum point of this episode, as well as what to do with the crab dude who's terrorizing the stepstones. It's a lot of blonde people in rooms having meetings. Meetings that probably could have been a raven.
Oh, really? They could have just sent a raven and
just send a raven. Just if it's a meeting, it could be a raven. If it's a raven, it could be a regular letter. And if it was a regular letter, we just didn't need to have it. And so it's just a bunch of people talking. And it's a very claustrophobic show, especially in the locations where we're almost always just in King's Landing. At least, like, you know, and I don't want to compare it too much to Game of Thrones, which was a different show, clearly, and a different idea. It had different perspectives. But yeah, I'm still gonna watch it because I still do like it, but it could use a little more things happening to more people.
Fucking people in chat are like roasting me for going like, you know, fucking Smith says too much blonde in fucking Game of Thrones or whatever the fuck.
Well, we were talking beforehand, and it was literally this episode that it occurred to me, not at all during the previous 48 seasons of Game of Thrones, that the word Aryan is right there in the middle of Targaryen. Like, they're not even really hiding it, that this is exactly who these people are. And so, like, yeah, there's a lot of blonde hair and blue eyes, and, you know, I'm not overwhelmingly sympathetic in general to Aryans who call themselves as such.
I do look forward to catching up with the show, but I think I'm going to let a few episodes gather up before I return.
Yeah,
build up a head of steam, if you will, so that I can fucking binge a bunch in a row. You know.
There you go.
All right. So we watched some shit.
I think that's all I watched. Oh, I watched the first 2 episodes of Mike, the Mike Tyson show that's on Hulu.
How is it?
It's interesting. Trevante Rhodes from Moonlight is playing Mike Tyson, both sort of in his prime Mike Tyson and older Mike Tyson. And the framing device is this one-man show that Mike Tyson had probably about 10 years ago, in which he basically told the story of his life through his own perspective. And And then they have some younger actors playing, young Mike Tyson, both as a sort of 11, 12 years old and like a 14, 15-year-old. And it's not poorly done at all. The only issue that it has is that Mike Tyson was a phenomenal physical specimen who could do things in a boxing ring that nobody else could do, including actors. And so it's just hard to capture that level of brutality and speed and power if you don't have that level of brutality, speed, and power. So like it's pretty decent when it's outside of the ring. But once it's in the ring, you're like, oh, right. You didn't even speed up the film.
I'm sorry, they're feeling very randy in chat. Charlie H goes, Smith, ... fucking doofus. Jesus, Charlie H. What fucking happened to you? This made me laugh. Smith says blondes don't have more fun. Headline, Kevin Smith says Game of Thrones, not enough superheroes. This one I don't get. Vicky Bickford says, remember, Smith cut the line in 89. I don't know what that means. All I think of in 89 is the Batman movie. Are they saying I cut the line to get in the Batman movie? Yeah.
You told a story that like one of your friends waited in line and you were going to go see something else or whatever, and you budged a bunch of people in 1989, I think, on a show like months ago. There was something about cutting
here's the real story. Here's the real story. Brian and Walter and Ed Havstack were in line for Batman. I was supposed to work that night, literally across the parking lot at a Domino's. That was my first day on the job. And I hated it because they made me wear pants. And when they were like, oh, we have too many trainees, who wants to go home? I was like, fucking me. Because they had called me at work. I think Brian had called me at work to be like, we're going to Batman, man. We're going to the show, blah, blah, blah. Are you coming? And I was like, I can't. I'm at the fucking place. I was like, but I might be able to get off. So they were like, we'll hold the place for you and shit. And so when I did get off, I drove my car over to the fucking the two parking lots, found them and got in. But I don't remember budging people in a fucking line. That's not a cut if your fucking friend holds your space in a line. So I say I did not cut the line in 89. I say I joined the line in 89.
It sounds like some archaic political campaign slogan. Like Nixon flew and Tyler knew, or whatever the fuck.
Turk 182.
Yeah. This is the subtle stealth Turk cast.
The Matthew Robarge says in chat, Smith eviscerates pants. I'll take that bullet.
Done.
I would, if that gets me canceled, fuck it. Fuck this whole world if not liking pants gets me canceled.
That would be amazing.
Fuck it to death. Because I have a human right, an American right not to like jorts. We get to make choices in this country still, last I checked. Can I share a story with you?
You can. I would love it.
Because a lot of people online, I saw a lot of news sites. I was in the news recently, Mark. We've been doing press for Clerks 3, so there have been Clerks 3 pieces and stuff. But the other day there was a flurry of news activity, news sites, wondering whether or not could possibly be fucking true that I was entertaining the notion of making a sequel to Tusk, the movie that I made years ago that everyone thought I was batshit crazy for. Came out and tanked and has since grown and found a following, and art house kids really seem to like it. And so there were lots of stories like, this is a rumor that he's fucking working on a sequel. That couldn't fucking be.
He would never.
Yeah, a lot of that shit. Or why would he? Or what the fuck? Like, he just got back on track. This Clerks 3 picture seems like it's going to work out. Why would he chance it? Because life was almost short for me a few years ago. I don't want to bring the room down, but I almost died from a heart attack, as we all know. Gave that heart attack to Randall for the new movie Clerks 3 in theaters September 13th. Tickets at clerks3.movie. But ever since the heart attack, Mark, I've been living like, on borrowed time, the way I see it. And as somebody who's living on borrowed time, I tend to act accordingly. So I wrote a movie that presumably we'll be doing next, the 4:30 movie. It's the movie that we're going to shoot in the movie theater that we're buying, the forthcoming Smodcastle Cinemas, which I just saw the geeky jerseys made. Our uniform is going to be hockey jerseys, like, of course.
I mean, checks out.
You know what I'm saying? Track. And the jersey designs are like fucking fantastic. Ernie just sent me a picture of the marquee design that Captain Ribman did for us. So that's going to be like absolute bliss. And because I got this movie theater, I wrote a movie for the movie theater, as if I write, called the 4:30 movie, and that's what we're going to be shooting in 2023. 2024 will mark the 10-year anniversary of Tusk. And Tusk was a movie born on social media, on Twitter, hashtag Walrus, yes. And everyone on, that followed me on my social media, like, tracked its movement and its growth. And only because there was a deal that A24 put the movie out, the good folks at A24, they had made a deal with Sony. Sony did, they did, XYZ Pictures did. Sony did international, but part of the deal was it had to be released like a real movie release in the States. So A24 put it out on 600 screens the day we opened with no marketing money whatsoever. They were like, but don't you have social media? And it's like, yeah, but that ain't advertising dollars. Like, so Tusk comes out and like dies a pretty fucking miserable death. And, we could just leave it there and move on. But, I've got more story I'd like to tell. There's a reason we left him in the zoo at the end. Because I always knew as we were making the movie, I was just like, oh, I'll totally do this again. I thought we'd have the late great Michael Parks with us longer. But sadly he's not. But I know we got Justin. And so early on, I was always like, well, eventually they'll take him out of that walrus skin and try to rehabilitate him. And, just like Harvey Dent in The Dark Knight Returns, but he'll only ever see himself one way, and then fucking he becomes the Howard Howe. Justin Long becomes the fucking crazy guy who's trying to turn people into something else, chimera things, half human, half whatever. Last time it was walrus, this time we'll see. So, I always had that in the back of my head and shit. And then the movie died, and I was like, well, I don't have to think about this for at least 10 years. And clock's ticking, we're almost there. So I would be stupid not to make what I'm calling Tusks. And yes, just like when Jim Cameron pitched Aliens, the S in Tusks has a $sign through it, kids. Has everything to do with the plot of the story, but it's also just me nakedly communicating my ambition that I am going to correct the past. If you live long enough, sometimes you do shit just to be like, I don't think we were wrong. I think we were early. Late great Jim Jacks, who was the producer of Mallrats. When Mallrats came out, it died fucking at the box office. We were doing a fucking post-mortem on the movie, and I was like, I feel stupid. I shouldn't have done that, man. I was wrong. I thought I was funny, but I was wrong. And Jim Jacks is like, no. Listen to me. We weren't wrong. We were early. Watch. And he was right. 10 years later, I was like, holy shit, man. Fucking like nobody remembers this movie flopped except me. Everyone seems to like Mallrats. Jim Pitt called it. The movie was just, I'm not saying we were ahead of our time, but technically, yeah, we were there just a little bit early. It happens sometimes in my career. And I don't give a shit. I like being there early and stuff. It just means you don't collect all the plaudits and the money. First one through the door takes all the bullets and shit like that. But, I don't mind that. I just like being first sometimes and weird shit like that. And so, I thought the fucking story was written. But, I've been in this business long enough to know the story's never fucking written as long as you're above ground. Jersey Girl was a movie that people were like, he's over, and tortured me for. And now it's a movie that people fucking dig and talk about fondly and shit like that. Like, I've watched, if you stand in one place long enough, you see all kinds of weather. So I've watched people go from shitting on Mallrats to saying like it's his best work. I've watched people go from shitting on Jersey Girl to being like, oh my God, why can't you make movies like that anymore? Shit like that. So I'm smart enough to know that Tusk has built up a reputation. Like all the work that we did making that weird ass movie made it a weird ass movie that people now know about and stuff. And, just because last time we were not wrong, just early, it just feels like I could correct that. And by doing Tusks, I get a second bite at that apple where I'm like, okay, now let's see if we can release it the way I would like to release it. If I'd had my way, I would have toured the fucking thing. It would have been a huge success. Even opening it on one screen, New York and LA would have been great. We dumped it on fucking 600 screens. So this would be, I was wondering, like, how do I follow up the convenience tour, man? Because it's like Jay and Silent Bob Reboot Roadshow was like, holy shit, I'm alive. Let's have a party. Clerks 3 is holy shit, I'm alive. Let's meditate on this. And I'm like, what would possibly be next? I don't think I would tour with 430 movie. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like a film festival film. But fucking Tusks. Oh my God. I could tour on that fucker for like 2 years if I wanted to, man. Like it's a midnight movie and a half. I know what the movie is. I've seen it. I've been writing it for a long time. Not like this, but in the head and shit. This is the last thing, and that's fucking easy. So I know how fucked up it's going to be. And I love being in the audience with people watching the movie and shit like that. It's going to be batshit wonderful when we do it with Tusks. So I reached out to the kids in the movie, man. I reached out to Justin Long, Genesis Rodriguez, and Haley Joel Osment, and texted them all to be like, hey, I'm watching Tusk. Fucking amazing. Still remains one of my favorite things I've ever done. Your commitment to this batshit crazy script is beyond admirable. You're all acting your asses off as if this movie is not fucking incredibly stupid. God bless y'all. I said, 2 years from now is the 10-year anniversary. I said, I think it's time we go back. I've got the story to tell. And, you expect a little pushback, especially from Justin, who's like, fucking like Brody and Jaws 2. Like, I've seen a walrus up close, and don't make me go out there because I ain't going through that hell again. But all of them were just like, oh my God, let's fucking do it. So, in 2024 for the 10-year anniversary of Tusks with the $sign at the end. Thank you, Jim Cameron, for that fucking tale, the aliens fucking story, man. Like, it's going to be a good time. Some people have been speculating, like he's fucking so far up his own ass. I would not disagree. But to be fair, I have been so far up my own ass from the first movie. You just didn't know it because you didn't know my life. But Clerks is literally just me doing my life and changing all the fucking names and shit. So this is nothing new. Me being way into Kevin Smith and up Kevin Smith's own ass. This is something I've been practicing since fucking Mallrats, kids. Like technically since Clerks. So I look forward to this, man. I think, I know some people are like, I hate that fucking movie. I get it. Like, I totally get it. I happen to love that fucking movie, but I could understand why people don't like it. But the people that do fucking love it, man. Like I saw what I didn't want to say anything for a minute on social media, but I saw people's reaction, and like there was an incredibly effusive wave of positivity of people who are like, fuck yes, do it. And it might just be like, I dare you. But regardless, sometimes we make art because we try to be daring. So we can't, unfortunately, we won't be, making the trip once again with Parks, who was absolute magic and the light of the world in that movie, the late great Michael Parks. But I believe in Justin Long, one of my favorite actors on the planet. I've worked with him many fucking times, and he's not only like brilliantly funny, and it can ad-lib 3 better movies than the one you write. He's a horror icon, let's be honest, and he can totally pull off what I need him to do. He's going to be able to go full Parks in this, or full Walrus, as we say. So so it is true, kids. I am going to do Tusks.
Bam.
Bamf Man is here, man. And Bamf Man was there the first time around for Tusk, weren't you?
I was. I lived with Jason Mewes in a condo in North Carolina for 6 weeks.
Yes, good times, man. It was good. I loved making that movie, man.
That was so much fun.
And I'd taken off 3 years. Like I had quit directing after what was Red State. Was it Red State?
No, Zack and Miri, right?
No, Zach and Mir, then Cop Out, then Red State.
Red
After Red
State,
State,
yeah.
I was like, I'm retiring, and I took 3 years off. So when Tusk happened 3 years later, coming off of that episode of Smodcast 259, The Walrus and the Carpenter, it was this creative burst of like, oh, this is fucking fun, because it was the closest experience I ever had to making Clerks again. Oddly enough, two movies are unrelated in every other way, but they were both made with the same like mindset, which is like, I did not think about anybody else. If I did, I wouldn't have made fucking Tusk, because it would have been like, why would you do this? I didn't think about critics. I didn't think about box office. I didn't think about anybody. I just wanted to see what it would look like. That's how Clerks was born and made, and that's how Tusk was born and made at the same time, later years later. So it was such a wonderfully creative environment. And then add to it, we were making this like madcap fucking batshit crazy movie that is like essentially an experimental film. You got to remember, I never got to make an experimental film. I made Clerks, and then suddenly they're like, congratulations, you have a career. So I never got to get weird or try things or be experimental. My first movie like just took off, and I'm not bitching about it. That's great. But, you know, it never allowed me to fuck around to do some Roger Corman shit or whatever. And that's what Tusk felt like to me, like all the fun of something experimental, like knowing that this doesn't work or this might not work for everybody, and still fucking doing it for the sake of, you know, art, just for the sake of being ballsy, just to be like, nobody else is going to make this fucking Man to Walrus movie. It better be me. So I look forward to going back, man.
My favorite comment in chat about Tusk 2 was, Tusk's bad to the bone is the title. That was Dan Woods threw that out there. Also, for anybody who's shitting on Tusk, shot by Academy Award nominated and Emmy Award nominated James Laxton.
What did he get the Emmy Award nomination for?
He was nominated for
Underground
Railroad with Barry Jenkins.
I love Laxton. James Laxton shot Tusk, and he shot Yoga Hosers with us. And what else? One other thing, a smaller thing. He did
that Halloween short film.
Yes, that's right. Well done, JC. He shot the Hollow Ian thing that I did for the Holidays anthology movie, horror anthology. James Laxton grew up to be an Academy Award nominated fucking world-class DP. But what a fucking beautiful attitude on that guy, right? Like, he was serenity itself, like the fucking Buddha. It is like working with the Buddha, this guy. You couldn't rattle him. There was no like, you're shooting outside, it's hot, you're fucking shooting into lunch. It don't matter. He was just like, let's go. I'm happy to be here. Oh, Laxton. I love that fucking guy.
What was funny
too, we'll get him back. I bet you he'd come back. I bet you he'd be like, fuck yeah, I'll shoot Tusks. Because if you look at Tusk, he's part of the magic of Tusk. Tusk is a fantastic looking movie, but it has nothing to do with me. I ain't taking the credit for it. Shit, that's Laxton. He's just a world class DP. The guy went on to shoot fucking Moonlight for heaven's sakes. Get nominated for it.
He was funny too, because me and Josh Roush were doing the behind the scenes on Tusk, and he would not be interviewed. He would not be on camera. He like ran away and hid. And then this past year, I did a ton of like for your consideration for Underground Railroad, and he was on every fucking Zoom talking and crying and being just like Mr. Self-promotion. It was so funny. I was like, 8 years ago, you would not do an interview. So like it's funny to watch him now. You know, he had done like a few movies before Tusk, and then he did Tusk, and then he did Moonlight, and now he's out there pitching, which I thought was really funny.
Is he chatty?
He's not super chatty, but he's really like thoughtful and emotional in what he says.
You described Laxton to a T. Thoughtful is definitely one of the first words I would use to describe him, not just as a human being, but also as a DP. That guy put a lot of thought into shit, man, always, but not like an irritating amount. Just he was like, think about it. We were making Tusk, bro. Tusk. We weren't making Moonlight. We were making Tusk. And he put his fucking all into that fucker. I'll always appreciate everyone across the board. Laxton, fucking the actors, they all treated it seriously. Everybody acting like we were making Argo, and not Tusk. It was so adorable. I look forward to doing that again. Everybody just agreeing. They're like, look, yeah, this is stupid. Yeah, it'll probably suck, but let's fucking give it our all and shit.
Yeah, I want to show back up and see if he'll do an in-person interview with me this time.
Laxton?
Yeah. Be like,
I
I know
bet you
you
will.
talk now. Was it just me?
I wonder if we'll get him, man.
That'd be amazing.
He works a lot. And the only reason I don't think we would get him is because he's like booked well in advance. That's why I could put it in the fucking, you know what? I'm gonna text fucking Laxton and be like, hey man, just to put this out there, 2024, I really like to do Tusks. And see if he was like, I don't care if you're doing it in 2030. No. But I think Laxton would be like, yeah, fucking, oh my God, let's do it again. He was such a sweet guy.
Tusk is also part of, when I tell like the long version of the Scum and Villainy story, I was supposed to be in Tusk, and I couldn't do it because we had to push lunch, and I had a phone interview with Lucasfilm that day. I didn't end up getting that job. I got real bitter, and now I own Scum and Villainy Canteen.
Come on, fucking open a bar. Screw them.
It's kind of like, if you listen closely, it's really a tale of revenge.
Yeah.
How is the bar?
Bamf. It's good. I thought I was done.
I know, it was adorable. He came back in, bam. It's good.
Oh, me again. Here we go.
Things are really good. I started hosting trivia every Wednesday.
That's fun shit.
I like make up the trivia questions. It's like the geekiest. Like the questions aren't like, this player on the New York Yankees in 1968. It's like,
that would be weird for your bar.
yeah, no, it's all like
That'd be a
nerdy
way
stuff.
off brand for the fucking Scum and Villainy Cantina. Be asking fucking baseball questions.
But like you get that if you go to any trivia at any bar in any place in the country. But here it's like, this film released in 1975 was the release that coined the term blockbuster.
What was the year?
1975.
That'd be Jaws, my friend.
Jaws. So that's the whole. I mean, it's really fun.
What do I win?
If you can answer 59 more of them, what did we do? We gave away tickets to John Williams and bar credit, which probably wouldn't go very far with you. You'd be like, what am I going to buy here?
What I remember when we used to do the education pub quiz at Scum and Villainy, it was so fun. I like quiz. I don't know what I like better, being the quiz master or actually fucking answering questions. I got very excited that I knew the answer to that Jaws question. I was like, do another one.
Somebody was like,
let's do trivia on that.
Yeah, fuck the news. Let's just do trivia.
I was reading it to Jen and Josh, who owns the bar with me, and he was like, I was like ragging him. I'm like, how do you not know this? He goes, this is all worthless knowledge. I was like, Josh, we earn off of my worthless knowledge every week.
No shit.
Like, it's only worthless right up until the point that it gets people into the bar, and then it's very valuable.
Speaking of John Williams at the Bowl, we also have a pair of tickets to this Sunday's performance.
That's right.
Maestro at the Movies.
It's Maestro at the Movies, and it's John Williams music, or is he going to be there himself?
I believe he's going to be there himself. But so many places you can now see the 90-year-old John Williams conducting an orchestra.
What day is this, and why are we giving these tickets away and not going ourselves?
Well, it's Sunday, and apparently you're leaving on a tour.
Sunday, that's the first day of the convenience tour. Clerks III. See it with me in a theater near you, in a city near you. Clerks3.movie for tickets.
Indeed. So, if you're in the chat now, if you're in the YouTubes, and you would like to potentially win one of these tickets, have JC pick your question tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, is that it? That's how they're going to win?
That's how they're going to win. So, say when you put in your question for the Q&A, say, "Hi, my name is Josh from LA," because it's got to be a local, unless it's a person who wants to fly into LA for the weekend. And Kevin and I will decide which question deserves the magic tickets.
He ain't kidding, kids. He just told you the fucking truth. What, you need me to co-sign it?
Co-sign it.
Trust everything he says. Listen to him, too.
Somebody just said, JC, I will sleep with you. Give me the ticket. I don't think that's a good idea.
And it said no Juan Eva. It looks like a girl, or at least somebody who's portraying themselves as a girl in chat.
At this point, if it was a boy, it would probably go over better in my life with my family. I could try to talk my way out of that.
I was young. I was in love.
I have a comic book coming out very soon. What does it say? September 1st?
Yes.
Yeah, in less than 2 weeks, man. Masquerade #1 hit stands, kids.
I read it. It's very good.
Mark read it. That's right. I gave Mark a copy to read.
It's wonderful.
Thank you, Mark. That's happening. Masquerade #1. It's top of November. Quick Stops #1 comes out. And I just started writing a new fucking thing, which I love, dude. Like, I'm going to send you this. Did I send you this script?
Yes.
Yes. I'm on issue 2 of it. I like this thing very much because I ain't seen it yet. Yeah. Me and Mark are having these conversations. You're like, what are you talking about? We're not going to tell you. But speaking of shit that we can't tell you about, me and Mark working on another thing. Remember, Mark was like, I got an idea. He told me the idea, and I was the fuck out of here. We've been working on that, and it's moving along, kids.
Yeah. It was the thing that was supposed to win Kevin an Oscar. But now it seems like it will win Kevin an Emmy.
It might win all of us Emmys.
There you go. That's the hope.
All the Emmys.
Emmy.
Yeah, that's how you win them Emmys. Like, make eye contact. I can't wait till we get to tell people about if it happens, but it's looking very good.
It is. All signs are pointing to the positive.
A fellowship is forming, kids.
Ooh. Fellowship of the Bling Ring.
Yeah. Fellowship of the Ring Peace, as Jason Mewes would say. All right. What do we got, man? Should we get into the news?
Let's get into the news, but before we do that, let's do one more ad.
Oh, who? This little owl asked.
The good folks from Immi.
Oh, let me tell you something. I'm going to say it this simply. Give me Immi. That's it. Fucking, I'm all about this Immi shit, kids. Here, follow along. Go to Immi Eats, IMMIEATS.com/fatman, or just click the link somewhere below and use the code FATMAN. You get $5 off a variety pack today, man. Immi is plant-based ramen noodles, man, and it is delicious. Meaning it's delicious, and I want to fucking kiss it. It's good. They weren't even a fucking sponsor, and I tried them. Look, I'm a vegan. Doesn't make me better than anybody. Just means I'm trying not to fucking die, because not being a vegan almost killed me. So get off my dick about it. It's not trendy. I'm not a hippie. I'm trying to save my life. In any event, because of that, whenever I go into a food store, I look for all vegan products and shit. And I saw Immi before they were even a sponsor. I was like, oh shit, vegan ramen. I'm gonna try this shit out. And my God, it was so fantastic. It's you can make a bowl that's so goddamn yummy. And it's vegan as fuck, man. Even the noodles. It's low carb. It's only 6 grams of net carbs per serving. High fucking protein. That's what we plant people like. 21 grams of protein. Each serving of Immi helps you stay full longer, man. It's 100% plant-based and dairy-free. Good for digestive health. If you got problems with the shits, Immi's for you, man. 18 grams of fiber. It's going to push that fucking shit right out you. Right out you into the toilet, man. It's 4 times as much fiber than other instant ramen brands. Also lower in sodium. Convenient as fuck. You make it 7 minutes, it's fucking done. They got spicy beef ramen, tom yum shrimp ramen, black garlic chicken ramen, and there's none of those things. It's not beef, it's not shrimp, it's not chicken. They put those quotes. A lot of quotes because it's vegan. High quality ingredients, man. They use high quality ingredients for the noodle and soup base with no unnatural preservatives. Many of the customers have said they felt very sluggish and tired after eating traditional instant ramen, but with Immi, they feel productive and they're in a better headspace. I agree with that. I don't even think that's hype, man. They use better ingredients. It's fucking plant-based. It's not like some processed bullshit. What are you waiting for? Try them out, for heaven's sakes. Feel free, kids. Click the link below or go to Immi Eats, IMMIEATS.com/fatman and use the code fatman at checkout, man. You're going to get $5 off your variety pack today. Try it out. You like ramen? And you're like, I could do without eating meat and shit. Here's your chance. Here's your chance to fucking dance vegan style, kids. And if you don't like the word vegan, you're like, fuck vegans. Great. Just say plant-based. We'll say whatever you want, but it's better for you, kids. Try it out, man, at immieats.com/fatman. And we thank the good folks at Immi Eats for not only sponsoring this show, but for making some fucking good ass ramen that a guy with heart problems can enjoy.
Boom.
Okay.
News.
Mr. Marc Bernardin's bringing us news. I can't wait to hear what's going on in the world of culture that pops. Ladies and gentlemen, Marc Bernardin with the news. Look at him saluting. You had a very Benny Hill thing going on.
Yeah. I think we had talked about this when it was a rumor, potentially, but now it seems to be fact that our boy, friend of the show, Matt Shakman, is going to direct the Fantastic Four.
I got very excited when I saw that. I was like, we know that guy. We actually had him on this fucking show. Legit. How awesome for him. Look, he did a great job with fucking WandaVision, man. Of course, give him Fantastic Four. He had to drop out of a Star Trek picture to do it.
He had to drop out of a Star Trek picture to do it. And I mean, Bob's your uncle. You got to rob Peter to pay Paul, whatever that is. But they're two fantastic things to have to choose from.
That's
Not
true.
bad.
That's the best of all possible worlds, but he chose wisely. I mean,
Indeed.
Fantastic Four are going to be fucking huge.
The fourth Trek movie or Marvel's First Family. And it seems like he chose Marvel's First Family.
I like the way you put it. I like the way you say shit.
I like the cut of your jib. I like your pretty mouth. In case those who might not have been here for the Matt Shakman episode, which you should go back and watch, it was very, very fun. But he directed WandaVision, which is why he was here talking to us. He also directed a bunch of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia's, as well as Game of Thrones. But it was WandaVision, I think, that endeared him to the good folks at Marvel, and he's their guy. It is unclear, however, who is going to be any of the members of the Fantastic Four. It is 100% uncertain whether or not John Krasinski, who played Reed Richards in Doctor Strange, will actually be Marvel's pick for it. There was a rumor that Penn Badgley, who I think is on a Netflix show called You, had been approached by Marvel, but that is only a rumor, and nobody knows nothing about nothing.
Mark.
Yeah.
Andrew Lawless, which I can't imagine that's his real name, in chat, feels bad for you. He says, my heart breaks for Mark with all his fantastic ideas to have to listen to a Tusk's pitch. Was it hard to sit through? Does that thesis track at all, or is this dude just being an asshole for the sake of being an asshole?
I think potentially the latter and not the former. Not sure if he's an asshole, but
yes.
That is not.
How did you wind up? Yeah, how'd you wind up in the audience of this show, good sir? Around here, we keep it very fucking civil. Watch yourself, Andrew Lawless.
Unless you're the son of Lucy Lawless, in which case, say hi to your mother.
Yeah. What else we got? What's the next piece of news?
Ben Kingsley and Trevor is going to be returning to the Marvel Universe in the Wonder Man TV show.
Now, he's not playing Wonder Man. He's playing Trevor Slattery.
He's playing Trevor Slattery.
They haven't announced. Have they announced that there was going to be a Wonder Man TV show?
They did indeed. Daniel Destin Cretton, who had the filmmaker behind Shang-Chi, it was revealed, I think, back in like May or April or May, but earlier this year, that he was going to be doing he was the one shepherding the Wonder Man TV show. And so given that canonically Wonder Man is an actor, Simon Williams, the scion of a wealthy industrialist, his company losing out to Tony Stark Industries, he then goes to work for Baron Zemo, and at one point he had been in the West Coast Avengers, a performer. And so it would make some sense for Marvel's finest actor to join up with Simon Williams for shenanigans.
I'm ready. I like him. I like Trevor Slattery.
Trevor Slattery.
I liked him much more in Iron Man than I did in what was he in Shang-Chi?
Yeah, Shang-Chi, yeah.
But I like that they brought him back and they keep. I got to plug my shit in. That they bring him back and that they're going to keep him going, man. Especially since Wonder Man is so Hollywood based, or that makes acting based.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, I think it was in Guardians 2, there were posters up on the wall of a movie theater in one of the flashbacks that revealed that there had been a Simon Williams movie in theaters with, at that point, Nathan Fillion playing Simon Williams. Unclear if that casting will continue, but it is a lovely little bit.
The rookie himself.
The rookie himself. Have to imagine it would be difficult to split his time between LA's finest and Marvel, but maybe not. They're both owned by Disney. It's one big happy family.
I'm in.
You're in?
What else you got?
You know what else I'm in for? The 4th season upcoming of Harley.
Oh, wait.
What?
Could Henry Cavill be fucking Wonder Man?
I mean, there was a rumor that he was meeting with Marvel to talk about potentially joining the MCU.
He's got the look, man. You put the glasses on him and the fucking wow.
Yeah,
wow.
He looks good, perhaps in the safari jacket or whatever it was that Wonder Man used to wear. He cut a dashing figure, that Simon Williams, and Cavill does an outstanding American accent.
What else we got?
Harley Quinn, season 4 is happening. Despite the fact that HBO Max seems to have been on a decimation tear as of late, this is one that is going to come back out of the gate. Even before season 3 drops on September 15th, there's going to be a season 4.
I love this cartoon, and at the same time, I'm so jealous of it. I really feel like a failure. Of anyone in this world, I should have been like, oh, let's do a Batman that curses. And it never once occurred to me. I have such reverence for the character. I was like, he would never talk about eating pussy.
He fucks bats, though.
Apparently he does. Fucking jeez. So I'm happy for those kids, man. It's quality program and funny and fucking well written. They know their fucking history, their DC history. So good for them.
Yeah.
Wow, absolutely. One of the few things that's going forward at HBO Max.
Yes, the rare light of good news out of, at least for nerds, out of the HBO Max Warner Brothers Discovery camp. Especially given that another news story is there is no DC Fandome this fall.
Is this also a fucking victim of the cuts or something?
It's less a victim of the cuts and more the Fandome began, it grew as a way to connect fans to their quality content during the pandemic, when we could not go to conventions. DC launched a virtual convention. Right. But now that we can go back, they were like, well, now that we're doing it again, now that we just did San Diego, now that we're about to do New York Comic Con, now that, COVID has been beaten back at least to the place where it's no longer, unimaginable to gather in numbers. It's like we don't need to do a virtual convention anymore. We're just doing real ones.
Tracks.
It tracks. That was their statement. With the return of in-person events, Warner Brothers Discovery is excited to be able to engage with our fans live at numerous Comic-Cons around the world and will not be scheduling DC Fandome for 2022.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Hey, in chat, Kabuki Kid asked a question. He said, did you ask Neil Gaiman if you could write the Funland character? Can you elaborate on that experience? True. When I did the Batman series with Walter, The Widening Gyre, one of the sequences had Batman saving a child at a seaside Gotham amusement park, kind of like Santa Monica Pier or something like that. And the person who had the kid was Funland, which was the serial killer from, Neil Gaiman's The Sandman from the issue with John D, which they recently depicted in the real world. So when I was writing Batman, I was like, well, I mean, fucking, he's got somebody grabbed a kid, so fuck it, I'll go with Funland and shit. And no, there was no process to answer the question. I didn't have to ask Neil. I doubt Neil knew about it and stuff. If he did, I'm sure he would have been more like, oh, that's adorable, rather than like, give me money or something. But yeah, no, I remember just being like, hey, like in the script I wrote to Walter, because he was the artist, like, use Funland from The Sandman. And that's how he wound up in the book. I thought of that recently when I was watching The Sandman. When that episode happened, I was like, oh shit, I put him in the Batman book that one time. Anyway, back to the news.
Back to the news. Here is I'm not even going to call this an odd story or even a weird story. It's curious in the best way. Will Eisner's A Contract with God is thought of, it's referred to as the very first graphic novel. 1978, Will Eisner, who is one of the great pillars of comic book creation, this book is being developed as a stage musical. Yeah.
The Will Eisner Follies.
The Will Eisner Follies. I mean, the book, it's very much consists of 4 interweaving stories revolving around the lives of varied New Yorkers living in a fictional tenement house. Most of those New Yorkers, or many of them are Jewish and many of them are immigrants. And like, if it's all in the same location and if it's all a bunch of different stories which kind of connect with each other, I see a version of that completely being able to exist on stage. The music is being written by Sam Hollander, Lisa Loeb, Matis Yahu, Ryan Miller, and Jill Sobule. And the producer is a fellow named Vivek Tiwari, who did The Jagged Little Pill and American Idiot on Broadway and has won Tonys for all that work. And it's like, oh, all right.
Who? Wait, who?
Vivek Tiwari.
I know him.
You know him.
Very well. Vivek is doing this?
Yeah.
Right the fuck on, man. Well, that makes sense. He's a big comic book guy.
He's a huge comic book guy. He wrote a book called The Fifth Beatle. The dude who did not make the cut. And so like, yeah. The like at first it's like, that's gonna be a musical, and then you start reading the things, and then you're like, you know what? All right, fuck it.
He's smart, Vivek. He's a smart guy, man. He put together some cool stuff. We're working on a thing. I'll just leave that right there.
Indeed. So yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah, me too. Especially now knowing Vivek's involved.
Yeah. I mean, there's a great quote from him saying, for me, A Contract with God was a formative ground zero for all my creative work. Like Will, I was born in New York City, a child of immigrants who grew up surrounded by immigrant dreams, both beautiful and frustrating. A Contract with God helped me understand both New York City and myself. I'm thrilled now to work alongside this group of top-notch, inspiring Jewish musicians to bring a stage production of Contract with God to both fans of the graphic novel and to inspire new audiences. Boom.
Hey, man. Look at that shit.
A
man so good at his art form that he's the musical. The man is the musical. I got an original drawing from Eisner in the secret stash. He drew Spirit for me, and he's going, "Hi, Kevin."
And then once, like 20 years ago at this point, when I was an Eisner judge and he was still with us, and he would always like hang around backstage with the Eisners, and he would, not quite be the MC, but he would always be there.
Chairman Emeritus.
And so I was presenting an Eisner, and so I got to meet him backstage very quickly, and I was a bit nervous because at that point in my life I had not done much stage work, and so it was like, don't worry, kid, they're comics people, they'll laugh. And so I went out and told one dumb joke, and they laughed, and he was right because he's Will Eisner.
He knew. Sweet guy. It was very nice to me too.
Yeah. Here's a weird one. Apparently, Thanos has has blossomed into a popular baby name.
Are you shitting me?
In a new study published by Organic Baby Formula, Thanos has risen 2,892 spots in the Social Security Administration Name Popularity Index since Avengers Infinity War was released 4 years ago. It is now the 9th most popular baby name based on Disney-owned characters.
That's
Quill,
a very specific list. Let's
It's a-
hear that. Let's hear that list.
Quill, after Guardians of the Galaxy's Peter Quill, is number 1.
People are naming their kids Quill.
Yeah. Kristoff from Frozen, Ray, clearly, Aladdin, getting a lot of pull, but I'm not sure if that's because of Disney or because it's Aladdin. Merida from Brave, Belle, again, doesn't have to be Disney. Simba, sure, and Olaf. And then after that is Thanos,
People are naming their fucking kids Olaf, like
the
because of
snowman.
that little snowman.
Yep.
Wow. I'm no judgment. I named a kid Harley Quinn. So, but wow.
Wow.
Bam.
See ya.
What's
Oh,
up,
nope.
Ev, man? What you got?
No Anakin on that list. I know
Crazy,
many
right? Isn't that
Anakins.
nuts?
it's on the list, but it's lower on the list.
People are
You would
naming
think
their
it'd
like
think it'd
Thanos
be
over
higher.
Anakin.
Mhm.
The Thanos thing boggles my mind. Have they seen the picture?
I have so many things, comments to
What
make.
complex
that I'm
you
not
gonna give that
make.
kid? That kid comes. The kid gets to be a certain age, sees that movie, and it's just like, is that my destiny?
Yes.
Yeah. Get to work. Get
Yeah.
snapping.
Sorry, champ.
Who is more famous for snapping in the comic book universe? Thanos or Snapper Carr? Snapper Carr did it all the time, like he was obsessive compulsive. Thanos just did it once, right? And then
Yeah.
tried to do it twice, and then it didn't happen.
Okay, so after Thanos on this list in popularity, Timon, Nala, Kylo, Anakin, Moana, Flynn from Tangled, Leia, Wanda, Valkyrie. What?
Those Leia and Wanda are shockingly low on the list.
They really are. Now, this I think is also charting the increase in popularity. So it's entirely popular or possible that Leia has just always been popular, that the increase in popularity of Leia has remained steady. This is just the growth in the last couple of years.
Any Baby Yoda ain't on that list? No kids
They-
named Grogu?
They ain't no Grogu so far. Tiana, Elsa, Cinderella, Naveen, Esmeralda, Ariel, Sebastian, Loki, Aurora, Luke, Finn, and Jasmine.
Bam.
What about no Chewies on that list?
No Chewies on the well, that's a very specific name.
What do you got to say for yourself, Bamf
I
man?
was just gonna say there's an incredible opportunity here with Tusk 2 to have Justin Long have a baby that's named Walrus Man, which was a Disney
shit.
character, and we could try to get Walrus Man up on that list.
Good fucking point. That's right, man. Fucking a list that we're not really a part of. Who charts and tracks this, like, children named after Disney kids? What a weird job.
Indeed. I mean, the Social Security agency, registers every name so that they can begin, at some point collecting monies to pay that person back later on in their dotage. But who grinds through that data to look for pop culture names? I'm not sure, but I thank them for their service.
James B in chat says Nine Numb would be a brilliant name. I agree. How come Nine Numb's not on that list? This is my fucking son, Nine Numb. And he's like, oh, he talks just like Nine Numb. People are like, what are you fucking, is he speaking in tongues? Like, no, he's talking Nine Numb, man. Whatever that fucking language is.
Because one dude did it once, and that kid got the shit kicked out of him, and nobody ever did it.
Nine Numb, you got a lot of places to go. You call him NN, 90,
90. I mean, 9 automatically sounds German and negative.
And wasn't there a Star Trek like 7 and 9 or something?
Mm-hmm. I mean, 7 is a better name.
Yeah, 7. That was in Battlestar Galactica, right? Oh,
6.
she was 6.
Yes.
Off by 1.
Off by 1.
What else we got?
Our last story of the evening is a fitting one. That there is going to be at some point relatively soon something that they're calling the Enterprise mission as part of the United Launch Alliance's Vulcan Centaur mission to deliver a lunar lander to the moon. And part of this mission, they're not saying entirely when it's going to be, the ashes of actors Nichelle Nichols, James Doohan, Majel Barrett Roddenberry, and Star Trek TV series creator Gene Roddenberry will be flown into space.
What? That's pretty magical right there.
Isn't it though?
Yeah.
Good for them. And then on the same mission.
I don't look, before we go further, I don't know much about space, Mark, but I do know this. Space is the final frontier.
And it seems that these people who were part of the ongoing missions into chronicling the voyages into the final frontier this would be a fitting resting place for them.
Absolutely.
Hitchhiking along with them will be ashes of Douglas Trumbull, visual effects whiz, an Oscar winner, will also be jettisoned ceremoniously into outer space.
I applaud this. However, the young Catholic in me was told that in the end days, our bodies will be raised from the grave and joined with our souls. How are they going to find these bodies floating around in space?
Well, I have to imagine that there's a better GPS for bodies and souls than just gravestones. I'd have to think.
I thought that's what gravestones were all about. So on the last day, the Lord could be like, okay, alphabetically, Andrew, get up, rise, and join your soul. That's really beautiful. Is there any way you would like to, anything you want done with your carcass or your ashes? Fetish, a death fetish, where you're like, yeah,
death fetish,
pour me into a lady's fucking shoe. Something like that.
Drag me behind the Evangeline's hot pink Corvette as she crusts into age 193.
Still doing it.
They'll cruise in the Sunset Strip. Not especially. I'm not overwhelmingly fixated on what happens to me after death. I would just like to not die.
Right.
That'd be cool if we could work that out. I'd like to be hobgaddling for a bit.
Look, I'm all for eternal life. Don't get me wrong. But here's what I want. Pass this on in case I forget to put it in a will or mention it to a loved one or something like that.
All right. Like, I'll be the dude who, like, does anybody have anything else to say before we deal with this? Guys, I do. Kev told me. And Jen's like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, he told me on a podcast. Here's what he wanted.
You could be like, let's go to the videotape. And they could pull this right up right now. I always wanted to put life-size bronze statues of Jay and Silent Bob in front of Quick Stop, which I think that building will be there long after me. Put those bronze statues, and in them put in the Silent Bob, put my ashes.
Could we not just mummify you and then build the brass statues around it?
I tell you, you're thinking like a salesman, because fuck a statue. Somebody's like, what? He mummified himself to sell tickets after death? That fucking money grubbing piece of shit. I gotta go. And then they're gonna come see dead me leaning on the wall like this. Like,
yeah, like it's some fucking reliquary at some old church.
Did they pull my brain out through my nose to do this in the old traditional way?
I mean, if you want it that way, we can totally honor those wishes.
But what about on the last day when our bodies are reunited with our souls? Don't I want my brain to be involved?
Listen, the mummification ritual happened way before the bodies being reunited by your souls.
Ooh, look at you pulling rank on Jesus.
I'm just saying. This
Whoa.
whole 3,000 years of
You're gonna
gods.
get us canceled talking fucking shit like that. Like the Egyptians predate Jesus.
Or you out of your mind? Like, well, yeah. It was year 1, and there's a whole like 3,000 BC before that. Like, literally, it says BC. That means before that guy.
Not in my world. In my world, BC means before Clerks, and then AD means after Dante. Those are the 2 eras of my life. How things changed incredibly. Thank you.
It's a very short window, but I like it.
Very tiny window. What is that all the news that's fit to print?
That's all the news that's fit to print, my friend.
This is not a news thing, but did you see the what was it? Mike Deodato Jr. was like, Nemours not built enough, and he put up a picture of himself like in his muscly back and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I would never take my shirt off in public like that. I don't have that body. If I had his body, I would, man. Yeah, but like that was
Tom Cruise.
That was a weird story where suddenly you had a comic book artist telling an actor, like, who were saying this actor's not nearly as in shape as I am. It's like, what did they say last year? I didn't have that on my bingo card.
Yeah, it's weird.
All I got out of that story was that dude's jacked. It's fucking like he's 60 or something, and he was jacked in the photo.
Jacked and body shaming a man half of his age for representing a culture that may not give a shit about being cut and shredded.
Is that right?
I mean, it's entirely possible that Atlanteans don't give a fuck. Like, most people, even in great shape, are not built like The Rock. And throughout eternity, the amount of time in which people look like that is relatively narrow, because deprivation was never a status symbol.
Fucking give me more of this. You're making me feel good about not being ripped.
I mean, fuck it. If you look back at, like, Sean Connery at one point was like a Mr. Universe. And that dude was never ripped like that, because nobody gave a shit about bodies that look like that. Mr. Atlas, all of those things from the back of comic books, you know, kicking sand, the guy who made a man out of Mac. Like, they were not nearly as ridiculous looking as, and I say ridiculous in quotes, as sort of modern bodybuilders and modern actors and modern people who 100% work their bodies to within an inch of the tolerances to look that way. Strength did not require that level of deprivation. People could just be fucking huge. You look at the strongest men in the world, Magnus from Magnuson, dudes that are like pulling Mack trucks and shit and launching logs into the air. They are huge. The guy who played the fucking Mountain in Game of Thrones was one of those guys, and he's just massive. You know, does the dude playing Namor need to be fucking The Rock? Could be, sure. Does he have to be? No. And that feels like it's a choice, and one that I can get behind.
Banffman's here. Before he joins us, I'm going to shout out in chat. False Flags had one of the deepest cut references I've ever seen in my life. It says, because he's out of shape, which is literally Ernie O'Donnell's line as the trainer Clerks. Well done, my friend. Deepest of deep cuts. Over to Banffman. What do you have to say?
I'm just going to, like, if you watch the Olympics, like Michael Phelps, the greatest swimmer of all time, is svelte, but he's not anywhere near The Rock or even like what Hugh Jackman looked like as Wolverine. So if a guy swims, he wouldn't be huge and beefy, he'd be svelte. Mm-hmm. I think there's the justification.
He's got a swimmer's body.
Yeah, he's got a swimmer's body.
Those dudes are lean, but they're not insane because they have to have so many fucking calories to do the work they do. They're not about the. I mean, I remember reading like, yeah, Michael Phelps will eat 12,000 calories a day if he's in Olympics, like if he's performing, if he's competing, because he needs that much fucking energy to make it all go. Wow. And like, it's a lot. I had a friend who was.
I eat 12,000 calories just cuz.
It's fun.
Like, oh.
I had a friend who was Hugh Jackman's personal chef. for a good year or so, back when he was in Manhattan doing can't remember the name of the play. It wasn't Music Man yet, but I think it was the previous musical he was in on Broadway. And he was training for a Wolverine thing. And he used to wake himself up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to eat a whole fucking steamed chicken and a pint of brown rice because his body just needed to add that much protein to be able to build that much muscle. Like it was an awful experience to have to get into that kind of shape. And most people just living a life don't do that.
Yeah,
And
I would
so,
never. You don't have to sell me on not getting into shape like that. I'm nowhere close. That seems like a lot of work and unnecessary.
yeah, like working out 3 times a day, eating every 3 hours because your body just needs to have that protein to add that muscle.
That just
And
reminds me of Wally West, man. I remember when I started reading The Flash, he was talking about like I've got to eat 8 pizzas just to fucking wake up, and I was like, oh, that tracks. That makes sense. Like he would have to. His body would be burning fucking calories no matter what he did. I
yeah.
like when comics make sense, especially comics about boys who solve their problems by running really fast.
So yes, that is all of the news. I am impressed by Mike Deodato's physique as an older man, but
Yeah, I was too. Very impressed.
but adding, applying modern contemporary stateside morals and workout ethics to a fictional underwater sovereign. Maybe it's a bit apples and oranges.
Here's my hot take. I can't wait to see what they do with Namor.
Yeah.
Like that's I can't believe we're seeing Namor in a movie now. This is nuts. And he's got wings on his feet, just like in the comics. All right, there it was, kids. There's all the news. That was
all the news that's fit to print.
You're never getting any more news tonight because the news happened, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Thank Mr. Marc Bernardin for bringing you the news. Next part about somebody asked in chat, they talk about Samaritan. I did not see that yet. That's the Stallone superhero movie, right?
Indeed. That's on Amazon Prime.
It's on Amazon Prime. So I guess maybe we'll get to that next week or something. All right. That's it. That is the only thing we seem to have missed.
Cool.
A lot of people are saying, is it Namor or Namor?
I have always pronounced it Namor, but I think that's fine. We can let Namor himself correct us if one of us is right and one of us is wrong.
We're going to hear it in the movie. I always pronounce it Submariner.
As did I. Submariner, not submariner.
Who would ever call him that?
Because he's not in a submarine.
No.
He's below the marine.
That's right. He's way below that marin. Dr. Nitrogen's musical empire says Samaritan was great. All right, so I'm gonna fucking check it out.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Bamf.
But yes, until they give me
here. What's up, Manf man?
Potato. Are you at or AT?
At my at to death, motherfucker. Oh, I'll fucking fight you if you say AT. What the fuck? At all the way. Yeah. Mark Hamill said we just called them walkers, which I thought was so fucking cool. I was like, oh my god, like, of course he would talk about them as well.
Yeah, I mean, because that's how they do refer to them. It's like Imperial walkers.
I never called them Imperial. I called them, like, as a kid, I called them Snow Walkers until they Kenner put out the AT-AT, and then it was AT-AT for the rest of my life.
Because in the commercial, they call it an AT-AT. In the toy commercial.
They say AT-AT?
They say AT-AT in the toy commercial. So we're right, I think.
We are right. Mm-hmm. They told us how to say it.
And also, if I remember correctly, there are no periods between the A and the T.
Correct. There's a dash.
At.
Right. So it's like, all right, I feel like I'm justified in AT-AT. And also, it's shorter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to take all day to say AT. But I will say ATST.
I ate to the game, wrote, when the sea living guy punches you in the eye, that's Namor.
Outstanding.
Another one from the kids in the hall, ladies and gentlemen. Endless music says Smith slams AT-AT pronunciation. All right. So do we we're about to get into the Q&A. Do we have one more sponsor for the evening? Was it
We do indeed.
sponsor evening?
They were throwing us money, apparently.
Show's so expensive, kids, that we require 3 fucking sponsors, man. It's like Shogun as a mini series, man. Just huge, bigger in life, so it requires 3 sponsors. Our final sponsor for the evening, kids, good folks that we absolutely love. They've come to us time and time again and told us, hey, do your magic. Tell the people, the good people, about what we have to offer. It's not hard, and it certainly will be after they get their mouths all around a BlueChew, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. The good folks at BlueChew are another sponsor tonight, man. Follow along as we talk about BlueChew. They got a special deal for our listeners. Try BlueChew free when you use the promo code FATMAN, all one word, FATMAN, at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. You can get free BlueChew. That's BlueChew.com, promo code FATMAN to receive your first month free. Fucking free for nothing. FOC, free of charge. Visit BlueChew.com right now. Why aren't you doing it? For more details and important safety information, we thank the good folks at BlueChew for sponsoring the podcast. Guys, it's time to bring that summer heat into the bedroom. We've said it before. Or temperatures aren't the only thing that's rising this summer. That's right, man. This episode is sponsored by BlueChew, kids. Guys, confidence can take you far in life. It can also help you in the boudoir, especially when it comes, the Wanchikawawa room, especially when it comes time to step up to the plate. That, I believe, is reference to the act of copulation, having sex, kids.
Yeah,
that's BlueChew. BlueChew comes in. BlueChew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. It just makes fucking sense, kids. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. See what I'm saying? The process is simple. You sign up at BlueChew.com. You consult with one of their licensed medical professionals, providers. And once you're approved, you will receive your prescription within days, man. Then you fucking pop that shit in your mouth like Popeye. That's how it works. Is that amazing, man? BlueChew's tablets are made right here in the USA. They're prepared and shipped direct to your door in a very discreet package. So your mailman's like, hey, you're chewing the blue, I see. I guess you need some of that Popeye in your dick. And you're both doing it at each other right there at the front door. Your wife's like, honey, are you doing the Popeye theme song with fucking Postman? Yes, because we're both blue chewers. Be a blue chewer, motherfucker. What are you waiting for? You try it out for fucking free. Don't cost nothing. Once again, try BlueChew free when you use our promo code FATMAN, all one word, at checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping. You ain't going to get a better deal today.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes. That's BlueChew.com, promo code FATMAN to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information as well. Don't forget. And we thank BlueChew for sponsoring this here podcast.
Boom. We did.
Thank you, BlueChew. Thank you, BlueChew.
You're the best.
All right. Hit me, JC.
Bam. So
please, hammer, don't hurt him. Hit me, JC.
We had a bunch of really good questions. So I think, do we do 2 non-LA questions? And then I have like 3 LA questions, and we can answer our favorite one and send the tickets to that person.
I got time for 3 because I'm packing up a car to leave cross country.
We'll do 2 questions, and then the last question we'll answer 1 of 3. We'll pick our favorite of the 3. We'll put it out there.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right. So my first question, I really liked this because I was watching Winnie the Pooh with Jocelyn today.
Oh, look at you, man. Don't use your kids as an excuse for watching Winnie the Pooh. You were watching Winnie the Pooh.
I was watching, it was a weird 1988 one, though. So it was strange. And
Was Pooh like fucking singing hip hop? What was weird? What was modern about it?
It was like
Poochie?
a really upbeat theme song.
Winnie the Pooh cheat.
Yo, what up, Christopher Robin?
Winnie the Poochie went home to his planet. I have to go now to my home planet. So anyway, back to Winnie the Pooh.
So Grassy Hill wanted to know, would you rather be a superhero or Christopher Robin? On one hand, you get a...
Hold on, deep cuts joke. Kabuki Kid wrote Winnie the Pooh and Tyler knew. Turk 182. Kids, if you never saw Turk 182, you're not missing anything, but you're going to miss a lot of deep cut jokes like that make Mark's laugh. Look how Mark laughs at a Turk 182 joke.
I love that it's like the secret key to mirth on this podcast. It's like, if you want to know how to get to these guys' heart, go home, watch Turk 182. Steve Williams, never better. Go do it.
Johnny Disco said Winnie the BlueChew. Fuck, we need these guys doing the ads.
I'm ready, Christopher Robin.
Speaking of which, did you see the fucking Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey trailer?
I did. I love that Winnie the Pooh is in the public domain, and so anybody could do anything to Winnie the Pooh. And
they did. They certainly did. But it looked well shot. As I looked at it, like I was like, this looks better than anything I ever shot and shit. I look forward to watching it. I'll be honest with you. I know some people are like, this is a fucking atrocity to the legend of Winnie the Pooh, the tale of Winnie the Pooh. But I'm like, satire, Mad Magazine. I liked Mad Magazine when I was a kid, so sue me.
Blood and Honey.
That's by Philip Seymour Hoffman and fucking Talented Mr. Ripley when he's on the piano.
Anyway, I thought that was your Philip Seymour Hoffman in Boogie Nights. Also,
where he's like, he's chewing on the pen. Now here's my Philip Seymour Hoffman. Do you got a girlfriend, a wife? I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna hurt her.
I got a car. You want to see my new car?
All right. What was the question, Jason?
Okay, question. Would you rather be a superhero or Christopher Robin? One hand, you get superpowers. On the other, all of your childhood toys are your real life friends.
100% Christopher Robin, man. 100%. All my childhood toys come to life and they're my buddies. So there. Could you imagine the shit they would say? We watched you pull your winky. What's that about? I'm like, well, fucking, I guess, don't you know what masturbation is? They're like, show us. And it turns out all my toys are dirty little cucks. Hot. It's hot, man. They're like, we like to watch, Kev. That's a Being There reference. Yeah, Christopher Robbins, man. That's a Christopher Robin or Robbins? Was he plural or singular?
Robin.
Singular.
Christopher Robin. One, just not one Robin, not two.
Yeah, I mean, if there's more than one person there, then they could be Christopher Robins, or if it's possessive, plural.
Ooh, that's the fucking Winnie the Pooh I want to fucking watch, where there's two Christopher Robins, and Pooh is like, which one do I choose? Oh, Baba. And he's like, Pooh, it's me. I'm the real one. Don't you remember? And then the other one's like, don't listen to him, Pooh. I'm the real one. And Pooh's like, my head. And he's like, I'll just kill them both.
Yes, I love the idea of two people killing each other for the love of a doll.
No, that was Pooh killing both of them.
Oh, Pooh kills them now.
That's the thing now. That's trendy. Pooh is a killer.
Killer
I mean,
Pooh.
his brain is stuffed with fluff. You can't expect very much.
Yeah, well, he gets off. That's how he gets off. He's like, he's not responsible for his action. He's a tubby little cubby all stuffed with fluff. So, Your Honor, you have to let him go.
I've only got the one synapse, and it likes pain.
Likes pain. I wouldn't say that it likes pain. He just doesn't understand the difference between pain and pleasure. They're all the same sensation to him. It's like my dog. We got tile in the house. We got tile outside the house. And everyone gets weirded out when she shits in the house. I'm like, everywhere she shits, it's tile. She don't make a difference. She's not like, oh, this is on the one side of the door for reasons. It's like, this is a tile. You tell me shit on a tile out there. What's the difference? It's in the fucking house. What do you want from me? I got a lot of understanding for my little dachshund, Mark.
I mean, the empathy abounds.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Empathy. I was sitting there going like, what's the word? But empathy is much more poetic. All right, what about you?
I go fucking superhero all day long, mostly because Christopher Robin is still just going to be that fucking dude, and his toys get to come alive and tell him things. But that doesn't seem as helpful as, I don't know, being Wolverine. Or
seems like a lot of work, though. You got to work out. You can't skip leg day. You got to wake up and eat chicken and rice.
Well, I don't want to be Hugh Jackman. I just want to be Wolverine.
You want to be the one where they give you the Weapon X body, so you don't even have to
make it. Just wake up and you're fucking Thor. Like, that would be rad.
Which Thor?
Jack Thor?
Jack Thor or Fat Thor?
Or Vincent D'Onofrio Thor.
Yeah.
Adventures in Babysitting.
Ooh, that's another Thor we hadn't thought about.
Another deep Thor cut. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I feel like playtime would wear itself out relatively quickly. But being a nigh immortal, incredibly invulnerable person who can fly through the heavens would be just as cool, if not cooler. That's just me.
He's right, kids. Don't be Christopher Robin. Be a superhero. You could help others. All I think about is helping myself. And my childhood toys coming to life helps me in some weird way. Probably wouldn't. They'd probably be like, kill, kill, kill. And I'm like, oh my God, why didn't I choose superhero? I'm such a dick. But Mark did choose superhero. He saves me from those killer toys.
I mean, I would save you because you're my friend and I would do that. But if I didn't know you, I'm not saying I would be like a right, wrong, or do-gooder. I would just have the powers of a god.
Oh,
that just seems like more fun.
Hey. You have the powers of a god right now, writer.
Ooh.
Don't you fucking forget it, son. Writers are kings.
Ooh.
Here we are. We're the princes of the universe. Our scripts, putting in lots of periods, getting overpaid to make up stupid shit. Born to be kings, princes of the universe. All right, give us another question.
That was
okay.
Fun. Mostly for the Queen rock out.
Andrew Chambers had a question. Just like the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel, which movie or TV show would you want an immersive hotel experience of?
Great question.
From Sydney, Australia. So he's in tomorrow.
Oh, I like that.
You go first. I got to answer some question over here.
I feel... Oh shit! You know what would be kind of dope? I'm torn. I'm torn between wanting a Princess Bride fucking immersive hotel / space / whatever, and I'm hoping that it's manned by people and not robots because Westworld is always waiting on the other side of this. I feel like that would be kind of dope. Or I'm stuck between Tron and the Matrix, and specifically the fucking Matrix of the weird ass sex rave of Matrix Reloaded. I think there's some fun to be had. I think it's fucking, if you're a single dude and you just want to get down with a bunch of hot sweaty people and have a slightly overweight Morpheus tell you what to do, I'm here for that as well. So yeah, sweat rave. Oh, but then there's fucking Blade, and you get to go to the bloodbath, the fucking underground nightclub with a bunch of vampires and blood's coming from the ceiling. That is super fucking dope too.
That's me doing that scene.
So yeah, I had too many. I didn't narrow it down at all. I'm sorry.
It can't be Star Wars. Anything but Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Wayne Manor. Full access. So up top, it's like a posh hotel, like fucking old timey fucking posh hotel, high end, expensive Fairmont kind of hotel. But part of your stay is that, you know, just like in Star Wars, you're in on the action and shit. You're in on the action here, man. So you get to go into the Bat Cave as well. And there's a fucking mission where, you know, how like in Star Trek, Star Wars, that you leave the cruise and you go on one of the rides and stuff. There's like a adventure involving the fucking Joker and Riddler and Catwoman and fucking Kite Man for no good reason, because you could fly somebody inside and shit.
Right, just on wires. Like, it's not a lot.
Totally. Oh my god, the Wayne Manor fucking getaway. You got my money. Take all my money, and then you get to go down to the Batcave, and you know how you get there, right?
Poles.
What?
Poles. You're giving the little fucking the fireman pole.
Well, yeah, I guess.
I mean,
I meant the clock. You gotta go through the grandfather clock, right? You gotta set the time that your parents died, and then the clock opens, and then you gotta run a long spiral staircase in the Batcave. That's how they do it in the comics. That pole shit.
I mean, I'd much rather lift Beethoven's head and just press a button and then just.
Oh, would I? So we should make options for people. Oh, and that. Well, there's also many lines, so we could have the '60s entrance effect, the Adam West entrance, or the comics authentic entrance. Batmobile's down there. You get to sit in it. Shit.
Is there also a tunnel that leads you to Arkham Asylum?
There is now, you genius. Oh my god,
Creepy
that's
underground
awesome.
tunnel.
Like you could just do the hallway, and it's just like the rooms, like, and you get to see in, and it's just actors and outfits and shit, and they're just like, Mr. Zsasz cutting his fucking skin and shit like that. Penguin like wah wah wah.
That'd be kind of dope.
He's like, what am I doing in Arkham? I'm not crazy. I'm just a gangster.
I mean, is there one that you could do that is just Arkham Asylum, but it's like that Sleep No More, fucking the Macbeth immersive theater thing that they used to put on. I think they put on in New York, in Brooklyn. They had a big warehouse thing where you would like literally go from floor to floor to floor and just walk through this kind of, you know, evolving drama, but it was just Arkham Asylum. And you're there, you know, as in the middle of a fucking breakout. You're there in the middle of an Alan Moore story about the night at Arkham.
Yes. I'm buying tickets to this right now.
That would be so dope. You walk around the corner and there's fucking Killer Croc.
I hear they're making it right now as we speak. Oh no. It was just killed like HBO Max shows.
Because there has to be another Naked and Afraid. We'll spend our money there.
Yeah, man. Build the Batman fucking Wayne Manor Resort with the Kung Fu grip. I'll go.
Yeah.
Shit, I'd buy one. That was a great question. All right, Bam Man, what you got? You got an answer for that, Bam Man?
I was gonna say Labyrinth. We were talking about Jennifer Connelly earlier.
Look, I'd go, but fucking that place would close in a year because most kids are like, "What's Labyrinth?"
Joel Rolston in chat had the best. The Clue Mansion.
I wouldn't say that's the best, but a pretty strong contender.
It would be the most like, you know, in universe.
Yeah, and you could do like a mystery, like dinner mystery theater kind of thing, and you could also make it an escape room kind of affair.
It'd be much cheaper than the Galactic Star Cruiser.
It would be cheaper than the Wayne Manor and the Batcave and shit, but not better.
It would not be better.
Not necessarily better.
All right, what's the next one?
Okay,
last
we're picking. These are all people from the Los Angeles area vying for John Williams tickets. So we have a question about if you could live in a sitcom. We have a question about do you have a movie that makes you so emotional you can barely watch it, or a She-Hulk West Coast Avengers question. Where do we want to go?
What was the first one?
If you could live in a sitcom.
Live in a sitcom,
Second one.
A movie that you love but you can't really watch because it's too emotional. And then the last one is She-Hulk West Coast Avengers.
I guess the first one for me. What about you, Mark?
I was going to go number 2, the movie that'll make you so emotional you can't watch it.
I absolutely have no answer for that, but do you have one?
I do, but if we think about a sitcom we want to live in, we could also do that. That's cool.
Let's do that. This is Laura Mays from Orange County. If you could live in a sitcom past or present for a week, what would it be and why?
Good Times.
Really?
It was one of my favorite sitcoms of all time. I watched every episode of Good Times. And I saw it multiple fucking times. James Sr., great dad. I would like to be, I don't want to be Bookman. I'd like to be like a Penny. I'd like to be the white male Penny. Gets to come in for episodes and shit like that. Not every episode, but like when you show up, people love you. You know, I know that it's fucking JJ's show, so I'm not trying to steal the spotlight. I'm a fan. I don't want to steal the spotlight. I love them all. Thelma, fucking Malona, fucking Michael, Florida, for heaven's sakes. Yeah, I think I'd like to be on Good Times. And I'd especially like to be there for the episode where they do the funeral. Spoilers: James Sr. dies.
Yes.
And Isabel Sanford. No, Isabel Sanford was on the Jeffersons. Who was
Florida Evans.
That was their name, but what in the show? But what was their name in real life?
No, that's the because it was James Evans, and then I thought Florida was his wife's name.
Yeah, but what's the actress?
Esther Roll.
Esther Roll. Thank you very much. She gives one of the most believable grieving performances I've ever seen in my life. The damn when she throws the fucking bowl down and shit. Oh my god, that still like haunts me to this day. How she kept it together all through the funeral, and then like, you know, when she's cleaning up and they're like, "We can help you, Mama," and she's like, "I'm fine," and they're like, "We can help," and she's like, "I said I'm fine," and finally she like breaks down, and you can see how much she's at a loss, you know, how fucking the loss of James. She was such a rock for everybody, and then fucking she just broke down, man. Such a great performance. Yeah, I would. And also fucking, I mean, maybe a lot of kids weren't there in the 70s, but fucking JJ was huge, man. Kid Dynamite, like I'd be friends with him. That'd be cool. You know, there's a part of me that wanted to say Facts of Life, but like I think Good Times. I mean, there's also a part of me is like Silver Spoons, because he had an arcade in his house and a little train.
Oh, see, that's dope though.
That is dope, but still, fucking Good Times. They were good times, man. Not getting hassled, not getting hustled, keeping your head above water, making away what you can.
Temporary
layoffs. Good times. Easy credit offs. Good times. Scrapping and surviving. Good times.
Hustling on a chow line.
Oh,
also good.
I didn't know that one. Good times. Ain't we lucky we got them? Good times. Honestly, I learned more about life from that show than I did in school. About interpersonal relationships and that families can like be bickery with each other and stuff like that. It was a good show.
It's an excellent show.
It's an excellent show.
I don't know if that's a world that I'd want to live in, other than I believe that Florida Evans can cook her fucking ass off. You'd eat well in that house. But
very true.
Yeah.
Except for the one episode where they didn't eat because they were afraid that the lady made a meatloaf with dog food. That's another episode that haunts me to this day, where I'm like, that's a possibility. I had no idea. And I'll be honest with you, you probably wouldn't even notice if you were going to town and shit. But like, I remember being a kid and being like, wait a second. And it's a really sad episode about how like they're all rumored out that like this lady can't afford anything, so she eating dog food. And then she figures out that like they're not eating their food because they think it might be dog food. And she gives this heartbreaking monologue about like, do you think I would do that to my friends? And they all feel like shit. I'm telling you, important life lessons I got from fucking Good Times. I'm a good kid because of Good Times. Taught me to be a better person.
I remember catching an episode of Good Times like a year ago during the pandemic, and I'm just like flipping channels with nothing else to do. And there was an episode where Michael flunks, I think, what was like a standardized test. And so Florida and Jim have to go to the school and like shout down their teacher, says, well, listen, Michael just might not be smart enough. It's like, well, look at the bias of this test. And it was all about, testing biases, all about the cultural biases that the tests were
in the late 70s, by the way, kids.
In the late 70s, the idea that how would this child know how long it takes to get from Greenwich to Boston? Like, how would he know? Like, there are no references in here that he can understand. Like, this test is actively biased against people from the city, and it's more favoring people from the country, or people from the rural, or people with money. And I was like, fuck, they're talking about this in the 70s? And we're still now beginning to have real conversations about how the SATs are a rigged test designed to keep certain people out of higher education. Oh, go for it, Good Times. You get yours.
They do. I mean, it was a powerful sitcom. They tackled a lot of fucking issues. They didn't do very special episodes. Every episode had some fucking something real to it and stuff. Yeah, man. Good ass show. What's yours?
My choice is a show that tackled zero issues. Frasier. I want to live in Frasier's world, where
everyone's erudite. Everybody's
got money. They're out eating at the finest restaurants. He does a fucking podcast for work. Ultimately, like the hardest part of his life is his dad, who's got to live with a stinky chair in the living room. But everything else is perfect. Like, that's a good fucking life. Like, he's got, what is that, Seattle? This crazy fucking apartment in Seattle that nobody can actually afford. Like, that's easy street, man. That's fucking high on the hog living. And I could get down with that. I could get used to that. I could get used to just like, what are we doing today? We're gonna get on this fucking radio show and give people some advice. That's all. Answer some questions, maybe. Maybe we'll give away tickets, maybe we won't.
You're surrounded by Emmy winners on that show. That show that like won so many fucking Emmys and whatnot.
It was one of those, like, they had to stop putting themselves up for Emmys because they kept winning them all. And so, yeah. Oh, there were no very special episodes of Frasier, but I seek a drama-free life. I want to live like, a rich white gay couple. Even though I know.
Good God, Niles.
Jesus, Niles. That's my pick. That's my pick, and that person will get a couple of tickets to go see John Williams Sunday live at the Hollywood Bowl.
Who was the winner again, JC?
Laura Mays from Orange County. From Orange County.
Okay, OC. You're gonna have to drive up to Hollywood, but fucking it's gonna be worth it because you're gonna go see the maestro at work.
Send me a DM. Oh, send you? I can do it.
Send me, yeah.
Send Mark or me a DM.
Send us both a DM.
Yeah.
Just to cover your bases, and we'll get you those tickets too sweet for Sunday night. Thanks to the good folks at Sounding Point LA and the LA Philharmonic and the wonderful folks at the Hollywood Bowl for sponsoring that particular question and offering us a delightful prize.
We do. We thank those cats, and we thank these cats who are sitting around watching us all this time and whatnot. Did you have a good time watching us doing this shit? Fucking, what are they talking about? I'm gonna judge it, or I agree with it. Is that what your night's been like?
I like it. I dislike it.
Yeah. Have you been this? Have you been this? Well, then it must be a typical episode of Fat Man Beyond, man. Thank you for joining us, kids. It's always fun to sit around and bullshit and chit chat about things that we don't have anything to do with, but can't wait to fucking see. Don't forget, Clerks 3, it's happening. You can't fucking stop it. Cannot. Try as you might. See it with me on the convenience tour, or see it without me when it plays at Fathom Events participating theaters from September 13th to September 18th. Tickets at Clerks III movie. I can't wait to see y'all out on the road and whatnot. I'll be the one up front wearing a white hat. What you got? What you got, Mark?
What you got? What you got? What do I have? Next week, I think, is D23.
Is that happening?
That is happening.
That's real world, right?
That's real world. We're in the Anaheim Convention Center celebrating all things Disney. And
they'll announce some cool Marvel shit probably.
I think they will. I think there's a couple of, they like to meet out their big announcements. And so I think they've got D23, like Comic-Con was a thing, clearly, and Feige came out there and announced everything happening from here to Kingdom Come. There were some slots on that sort of final phase slide that were kind of open, and I'd have to think you're going to get some of that information at D23, as well as potentially have an investor day, I think in November of this year. But I will be there with the good folks at Skydance New Media and Marvel Games to talk about a thing on Friday. I think that's all I got in the immediate future.
Legacy movie trailers in chat says, thanks guys, great show. Indy 5 trailer gonna drop at D23.
Ooh, that's a good place for it.
James Mangold's movie. Hey, Banff man, you got some info there?
We may know who cut that trailer.
We do indeed.
That's right, man. Fucking oh shit. So we're gonna get to see it. I still think about. Remember when he said he was like Little Children? That was the trailer for him.
Mm-hmm.
I went and rewatched Little Children like 4 days.
Wonderful.
At first I watched the trailer because I was like, oh, he's right. It's a pretty good trailer. But then I watched the whole ass movie, which I've always fucking loved, man. Mm. That guy just disappeared after that movie.
Todd Field?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's got a movie at like Venice.
This year?
Movie. Yeah. I think he came out of retirement or self-imposed exile or whatever it was.
I fucking love Little Children. I don't want to get quoted out of context. But I love the movie Little Children.
The Todd Field film, Little Children.
Let's be very specific. Yeah, it's a good fucking watch, man. And he pointed that trailer out. I was like, fuck yeah. Yeah. And then watching that trailer and he was right. He goes, I like to go for a feeling. What was our editor friend's name? We keep talking about him. He
shit, I can't remember. Which I feel bad about, but
I'm sure somebody in chat, Philip Dahl just did the joke. Breaking, Smith loves little children.
There it is.
ER Mixon's craziest theories in chat wrote, Zaslav can't stop Clerks 3. Nobody's I know their chat's always a little behind us, but nobody remembers.
It was Andrew Hegel Hegel. Andrew Hegel.
Yes. Andrew.
Yeah.
Guy. Yeah, so now it's popping up in chat like crazy. Yeah, man. Fucking he cut that indie trailer?
Well,
he did say that he was like working on a dream thing, the thing that you know, the first
he didn't say it, but you read between the lines.
Yeah, we all kind of put that together, the steel trap minds of this triumvirate.
He named the dog Indiana.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's true. Kids, that's it.
That's it.
That's all I can stands because I can stands no more. We got no more show for you. There's literally fucking no show left.
We're out of it.
It's done.
Tap the
all good things come to an end, and all shitty things come to an end, as proven by the show coming to an end. Kids, did you have a good time? If you did, you got to thank JC Banff, man. It takes his time to make sure this here broadcast gets to you out over the internets using digital magic of some sort. You want to pay him back? You want to thank this man? Go to his fucking bar and drink. Drink booze at his bar.
Eat foods.
Eat the foods and drink the booze at his bar. Scum and Villainy Cantina right there in Hollywood on Hollywood Boulevard. We won't be back there doing a show for a minute, but in December, you better believe. Better believe we'll be there. Did you like this show, kids? If you did, it's all because of the other guy, man. Give it up for marvelous Marc Bernardin, ladies and gentlemen. So
Thank you,
insightful,
sir.
so smart, so insightful, so smart.
Smart
That's
thinking.
Whenever I was just at Fan Expo Canada last weekend in Toronto. And a lot of people came up to when I was signing stuff and taking pictures, and they were like, "Oh my God, thank you for Fat Man Beyond. That saved me during the pandemic." Like, I was like, that was the one, that was the show. They're like, "Oh, I listen to you guys every week. I watch it every week." And I'm always like, is the other guy, isn't Mark great? They're like, "Yes, he's so smart, but like, it's nice that you like everything." You get smart. I get he likes everything. Like he's like Mikey from Life. But yes, people, it was very nice meeting people who like engage with the show on a regular basis. Thank you, folks, for engaging with the show on a regular basis.
Indeed.
That's all the show we got for you. I'll see some of you out on the road on the convenience tour, and we'll figure out when we're doing this streaming thing next time, also from the fucking road. Next time you see me streaming this show, I won't have this amazing background that I always have.
Indeed. I know. You have to take those on the road. You got to pack up all the pops.
I am. I'm bringing all these fucking pops so I can set them up behind me wherever I go. No, I'll probably be in some dank hotel bathroom like I've been kidnapped. I'll be holding up a newspaper with the date on it and shit.
Proof of life. It's the proof of life pod.
Chained to a radiator.
Like, Mark, there's a saw just out of reach.
Yes, that's exactly what life on the road is like. But until then, kids, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars.
We will also try and slot in some Black Man Beyond pods in the interim. I have some thoughts of some guests that we can bring on and chat about some shit. But
very nice. You be doing that at the bar?
You know, I think we'll as makes sense to do at the bar. I think some of them we'll be doing here on the Zooms, but yeah, I think we'll drop into Scum and Villainy every now and again, and drink and tell some jokes. Might get Malcolm Barrett back and see other things that Watchmen is as black as.
The Rob Brown in chat said, "I saved people during the pandemic by liking everything," Smith says.
Hour of my heart.
Very randomly, Louis Yared wrote, "Those Funko Pops will not be worth profit until at least 2055. Like, okay, math. However, I can tell you right now, fucking like I've got some of the rarest Kevin Smith Pops in the world. They go for like $200. So you're instantly wrong. Why would you end the show like that?
I don't know.
Everything was going great until you had to get all Funko Pop smart at us.
Like, yes, also the comic books I have are not worth anything anymore. Thanks.
Yeah, really. There it is, kids. Fucking go out and live your dreams. Unless your dreams are about hurting people, killing small things. Don't fucking do that. There's enough of that just happening naturally and shit. Don't be a part of that. Don't be destructive. Be creative. Go out and make dreams come true and make those dreams fun dreams that everybody can enjoy. A good time, like dream in color forms, kids. Who don't fucking like color forms? Bunch of people out there going, what are color forms? Well, we used to play with them in the 70s. They weren't a toy. They weren't a diorama. I don't know what they were, but it stuck.
They were plastic you put onto other plastic, and it just stuck there. And it might look like a figure of a thing that you like.
And that was what we called fucking fun. And we turned out just great.
Yes. We had wooden blocks. We had color form. We had Viewmaster, which was
Lincoln Logs, fucking Slinkies. There we had that phone that rolled and its eyes went like this.
Oh my God. We had fake microphones that were just plastic cones that sound like you're amplifying your voice, but it was just literally a fucking plastic cone.
You were just fooling yourself. We were like, can you hear me now?
Yes. And we had our genitals, kids.
Yeah, that's what we had. Still got them.
Hell yeah.
Proud to say, still got mine.
Still works mostly.
Just like Han Solo's blaster. I never lost it.
It comes at night, mostly.
Mostly.
Bam.
Ant-Man is back for one last thought.
Last thing, did you see that Han Solo's blaster from A New Hope just sold for $1 million?
Are you shitting me?
Yeah, they had it on display at Comic-Con, and it's just sold at auction for $1 million.
Who owned it?
I don't know. It was like some prop house or
Pablo
auction
Escobar.
house.
Somebody very wealthy right now. Fuck. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Dave Mandel. He owns a lot of shit. But
What if it was Harrison Ford? It was just like,
be amazing.
come on home.
Like, I've been holding on to this for a long time.
Or what if he bought it though? What if he was like, I want to have it back. I haven't seen that thing in 25 years.
Well, he could certainly afford it. That's for sure.
Chewy, it's home.
It's kind of sweet. I like your version better than mine. My version, he's just like, I'm selling this shit. How much can I get for this on the street?
I got my weed.
A desperate fucking Harrison Ford. I need a new plane. I need some plane fuel.
I heard the best story. I've been doing a very quick deep dive into Brett Goldstein's podcast, Films to Be Buried With.
I was on it.
I know. I listened to your episode. It was lovely.
I had such a good time. That was before I'm, fucking Ted Lasso. And I remember when I was watching Ted Lasso, I was like, I think I was on a podcast with that guy. And I loved his podcast. He was so fun and clever. And then so it tracked when not only was he an actor in Ted Lasso, but he is also a writer on Ted Lasso.
He is indeed. And so my new quest is to be a guest on Films to Be Buried With.
Does he still do it?
He still does it. He still does it. And so I listened to it.
That's so charming to me because he could, that guy's a fucking star now. He could have easily dropped the podcast. I'm so glad he still does it.
He still does it. But he had an episode with Patton Oswalt on, who told this story about, and I wonder if Banffman can verify this, that during the filming of Empire Strikes Back, there's this scene when they first land in Bespin, and fucking Leia and Han get off of the Millennium Falcon and they greet Han Solo, and they are so Lando, and they are so smiley and happy and just genial. And it's like the story is the night before they were at Eric Idle's house, like getting drunk. This is Patton Oswalt's words, doing rails of coke, and then they realized that it was so late that it was worthless to go to sleep, so they went straight from Eric Idle's house to the stages in England, and then just shot. And so that's why they're so fucking goofy and silly, because they're high as kites.
Wow.
And I thought that was just beautiful. Does that check out, Ben?
They brought a little Hoth with them, it sounds like.
Indeed.
I have heard that story, but it may have been via Patton Oswalt. So we may have the same source. I'll say this. Have you ever seen, there was like a meme going around on the internet, and it was like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And it's the scene in Return of the Jedi when they're heading to Endor, and Leia comes up behind Han on the shuttle and puts her hand on his shoulder. And all of Carrie Fisher's fingernails are like cut really low, except for her pinky, which is like an inch long.
Good. Look at Banffman throwing the fucking shade.
That's the internet. That's not me.
Yeah, and also Carrie was pretty open about.
I don't think I'm outing her.
Yeah, I was gonna say everybody. I think that Carrie made it a big part of like who she was, to be like, hey, I used to, and now I don't. She was very frank about it, and funny as well. How wonderful that we got to. I crossed over with her a little bit.
You did.
I did. All right, the show won't end.
No,
it just won't stop. We got to stop it, kids. There it is. There's all the show. There's your Fat Man Beyond for this week. For Fat Man Beyond, I'm Kevin Smith.
And I'm Marc Bernardin.
Tune in next week. Same fat time. Same fat channel. Smodcast.com or
youtube.com/Kevin Smith.
Clerks III movie for tickets. Jeff's kiss, everybody. Mwah.
Have fun on the road, my friend.
Thank you. This is from Cat. Greetings, everybody. and welcome to the AKA Ask Kev Anything. Every saga has a 10-year anniversary, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what happens when Jay and Silent Bob get old. I'm Kevin Smith. Cheers, if you